And welcome along, everybody, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. Now, we're continuing to pioneer the way for 2v2 Rocket League, as we have the best players from North America and the best players from Europe continuing to fight it out for a slice of $100,000. Now, of course, we've had weeks and weeks of qualifying so far. We're into week 4, we're into day 2, and it's not just me, still, who's here. There's 2 other gentlemen who are on this desk, and they are continuing to do an absolutely stellar job, I must say. Of course, Achieves and Shogun. What have you been up to, guys?
What have I been up to today? I sat at home and drank a lot of water because stay hydrated, kids.
Okay, I mean, sound, sensible advice coming in from Achieves, and I'm expecting nothing like that from yourself. How are you doing, mate?
No,
right?
me and Onset, me and you went out and we got pumped.
We did.
We got pumped.
We got jacked.
Yeah. Well, I think you got jacked. I struggled with much lower weights.
It's fine. You got to start somewhere, Shogun.
I had to carry my ego as well, and that was just getting
That's
dropped.
heavy.
That was heavy.
That's heavy.
Of course, it's always great to hear from you guys at home as well, so make sure you get involved. Send us your questions. Send Achieve and Shogun some questions as well. Use the hashtag UOS2, and of course, head over to Twitter as well and follow us at Universal Open to keep up to date with all of the goodness that's going on in the competition. Now, let's have a look at the format for the event. You should be up to date with it by now, but just in case you're joining us for the first time, we are well into the action at the moment. We've had the East, we've had the Northeast, we've had the Central qualifiers. We're now on the West Coast qualifiers. We've already had Washington and New York, and Chicago and San Francisco are just around the corner. Of course, the winners will progress to that live grand final with the teams from Europe's online qualification next week. The top 4 from that will be joining them at that grand final. Of course, August 24th to 28th, 18, $100,000 on the line. You don't want to miss that one, so make sure that you've got your diaries clear. Now, let's have a brisk bracket update to show you where we are today after all of yesterday's action. As you can see here, we had G2 Esports, B, and Applesauce getting through to that qualification game. Scissor Your Cob and CLG, they'll be going up against each other as well. That's all for tomorrow, though. Today is all about this lower bracket, all about the shark pit, like we like to call it. Smiley versus Team Sub and RL. Lights Out taking on Ghost Gaming. The Rejects already picking up a nice 3-0 victory against Fierce Pelicans, and then Genesis will be taking on Lethality to play against the Rejects. Now, gentlemen, obviously, we have the fixtures to come up today as well. Let's take a quick look at those before we get into this discussion. And we can see here, we're going to be starting off with Genesis versus Lethality. Then we'll have our lower bracket round 2 game. And then obviously, as the bracket populates, we'll have some more games to bring you as well. Now, to bring you back in, gentlemen, once again, because it's always great to have your input on things. Let's talk about this elimination bracket. Let's talk about the shark pit, as we like to call it. Stressful day for a lot of the players involved here.
Probably the toughest day number 2 we've had to date, because there are a lot of really solid teams down in the lower bracket today, and it is absolutely a shark tank. It's not going to be a lot of fun.
There's a lot of teams there that are just teams that really, like, we look at and they say they probably should make the final day. Unfortunately, not all of them are making the final day. They've got to try and eliminate each other. Get past one, you've got to try and take down one more, but even at that point, you then get to that final day, which is tomorrow, and you've got to take on one of those top 4 teams that still haven't lost one yet, so it is a tough road ahead.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on these teams today, but some things for you guys at home to keep an eye out for during the broadcast. Of course, one is our Dual Force Achievement Unlock, also known as our 7-Eleven moment. Now, this will be awarded to any player during today's broadcast who scores 7 goals and makes 11 saves during a series. So make sure you keep your eye out for that. You can see it down below, and I'm pretty sure, once again, I'm going to win it. So, I mean, at the moment, I'm walking away with this, let's be honest.
Every week, every broadcast, Onset, you always deliver.
I do deliver. And one thing we need to make you aware of as well is thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, we're fighting against world hunger. For every single goal that is scored during the Universal Open Season 2, they'll be donating 10 meals to the World Food Program USA. Now, you can get involved, and we hope that you will get involved, by heading over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. Of course, you can get involved, which is a fantastic cause. Thanks again to our partners over at Soylent for that. So now, let's get into the action, gentlemen. Let's talk about this game number 1, because these 2 teams here, Genesis and Lethality, we were looking at this game yesterday when we saw it in the bracket. We were kind of excited about this one.
Yeah, we weren't too sure what we were going to see out of Lethality in day number 1. It was J-Bot and I've got it written down. I could have just looked at my screen. Lion Blaze, they did pretty decent yesterday. We weren't sure how they were going to do because we didn't know too much about them, and they got to show everybody how air dribbles work, to say the least.
That's very true.
And Genesis, of course, they had to play G2 yesterday. Pretty tough go. They didn't look too bad. They kept things fairly close with the exception of that game number 2, so tough first loss, but I think they're probably going to do okay today.
And how are you feeling about this one, Shogun? What are your initial reactions once you saw this game?
So for Genesis, this is a complete shake-up to what they're used to. G2 were very controlled, very calm yesterday. J-Bot and Lion Blaze are anything but control and cut. Maybe control over the ball is about as much control as they usually have over what is happening in the game. So it's going to be very interesting for them. They're going to have a very much a more mechanical-based team to try and play against. But on the other side, we do talk about the fact that J-Bot was getting all of those air dribbles going off. He was getting a lot of space for them. Not going to get it this time around. There was very aggressive with the challenges yesterday, and I don't think Pluto is going to allow that to happen this time around. I think he's going to get right in their faces.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. I certainly just think Genesis as a team, Liquid and Pluto, will just be that much faster. CP, let's go all the way through it. CP Slow Mona yesterday. They
still causing us problems today.
They just couldn't quite really threaten those air dribbles. They gave them a lot of space, and I think you're absolutely right. Liquid and Pluto are going to be right on top of that. You're really going to have to see a big switch up from Lion Blaze and J-Bot, I think, if they want to be successful today.
Okay, well, talking of some of the action we saw yesterday, we actually have some of the replays from yesterday's competition to show you. So we're going to show you these. Obviously, some great plays being made yesterday by a lot of players. We had, I mean, the assist of the day we couldn't pick out yesterday, could we?
We got it from the right game.
That shows pretty
we got
much,
it from the right game, but it actually was a pretty
difficult
good one.
it was. But, I mean, goal of the day. I mean...
That was a pretty easy one.
That was Jacob.
Jacob nailed that.
All the way.
What a goal. And hopefully we'll bring these replays in right now so we can show you some of the action that went down yesterday. And here they come. Hey, we've just been stitched.
We'll not let you go. We'll not let you go.
We've been stitched up.
Boys,
what's going on here?
No.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
So
Mamma mia, let me go.
If you're wondering what this is right now.
For me! For me!
Alright, come on.
Oh
production.
my gosh, the
It's
setup.
war production. It's very much war.
Setup.
That's rehearsals. That's never meant to be seen.
That's private.
This is war. This is war. Okay. Production.
That's leaked.
I'm not throwing to anything anymore. I'm on strike. You on strike, guys? We're on strike. Yeah? Cool.
I like that.
All right.
I like that.
But because we're professional, unlike some people in the back, we're going to continue with the show. But if you like that, that is going to be available on vinyl, coming out in all good record shops near you. Make sure you head over to what we're going to call ourselves, achieveshowset.org /
I've heard worse.
Queen cover. I don't know. I'm sorry about that, everybody. If you
See,
had
what's even
any
worse?
headphone users, apologies. Anyone who had any kind of sound, seriously, I'm very, very deeply sorry.
We had so much fun, though.
That's
What's
very
even
true.
worse is that people weren't, like, we didn't know it was coming. People at home aren't going to know it's coming. They are going to have thought that we just started singing as that
was the
came up.
broadcast yesterday. Yeah. I mean, I was told in my ears we got a replay package from yesterday,
Yep.
so shout out to
Yep.
production, you got us, but I will have my revenge. The teams are ready though, gentlemen. Game number 1 is about to get underway. Let's get some quick predictions before we get into this one.
I think I take Genesis. I think Pluto and Liquid, I think they
can't
do
believe
just
this.
fine
Oh,
today.
This is my game face.
Okay,
Yes.
that's your
Right
game
now.
face. Well,
That's
let's
my
get
game
into
face.
game
Fun
number
mode.
1. Let's talk about this game number 1. Let's get into the action. It's Genesis versus Lethality, and once again, of course, it's going to be Shogun and Achieves.
Right, we're trying to shake off what is, quite frankly, a traumatic experience for us all. Let's get ourselves into game number 1. Genesis starting us off on the defensive side as Lion Blaze with an early
nice
shot.
shot.
Pluto can't quite get there as the revolving door can't quite shut down in time.
They're real close to getting this one. A little bit of a scramble, though. I think Pluto just wasn't really too aware of where Liquid was, and I think it was the same case for Liquid as well. On that first challenge, they both were so focused on the ball, and if they don't double commit there, they probably keep that one out.
It only took 20 seconds. Lethality. It's going to be a lot more traditional with the way they play this time around. That being said, it does not mean that they don't have the ability to bust out some of those incredible mechanics. And there's only one player out here that I feel like might even enable it at times is the fact that Pluto was very, very tentative with some of his positioning yesterday. He was quite far back. We need to try and hold that midfield a little bit more this time around.
Yeah, I also think that J-Bot and Lion Blaze are going to be a little bit slower than G2, though, so I don't think that'll be the worst
I think G2
case.
were playing that fast. It was just control
yeah,
the
but
entire time.
Oh, nice shot. The positioning from G2 yesterday was real solid.
J-Ball. Tries to go for the back ball. It's pretty wasteful, but Pluto, everyone just seems to be pretty much refusing to take control of the ball. Be Liquid, misses. So the next step up to not taking control of the ball is just simply not hitting it. Nice challenge there from Lion Blaze. He's going to try and chase down Liquid, who has got it past. Lethality, they are just happy to play the ball around right now and see whether or not they can open up Genesis. Now Lion Blaze on the hood. 10 goals to his name yesterday. That's
Oh,
going
nice
to be
one.
the 11th overall for him. What a flick that was.
This was beautiful. Pluto backed off in the midfield because he didn't have any boost. He had to go all the way to the corner, and he just gave that dribble up to Lion Blaze, and Lion said, if you're going to give it to me, you're going to have to make a tough stop. And it was a great little rotation. Get that ball high in the net. Perfect execution. Well done.
J-Bot was getting a lot of credit yesterday for definitely the more fancy of the goals, but Lion Blaze, he got the majority of them.
Yes, he did.
Now Liquid just forcing out the defender. Pluto not around. J-Bot's going to be able to control this one as Liquid's just behind him. So 2 goals to the better now. Genesis struggling.
Not a good day one. Couple of poor clears, though, and it's really on Genesis to take advantage of them. Lion and J-Bot have given the ball up a few times.
Pluto back to the side again. He's going to be able to follow this one up, but once again, too loose. He's got to keep these close to himself because he's losing possession very often. Pluto down 1. Lion Blaze is on 0 boost. Now Pluto can keep this going, but I don't think he's got any boost of his own. Finally picks it up on the far side. Now looking to keep this going, but that's the corner. And the unfortunate thing about the corner is it's very obvious to everyone where you're trying to go. Now back out again. J-Bot taking his time, challenges Pluto. 3rd goal could very well end this game. Genesis have struggled to create too much. That will be the 3rd goal. And Genesis need to do a lot if they want to have a chance here.
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of Liquid's fault for running into the wall there and not getting the touch on the ball, but at the same time, I feel like that was all set up by Pluto kind of cutting in front a little bit earlier out of the midfield when Liquid had a perfectly capable challenge.
So 3 goals down. We were mentioning this yesterday that 2 goals is often doable, but
3 goals is doable in 2v2 as well. But
yes. But
again,
Genesis just haven't shown us that much of an offensive threat at this time. They've really struggled to bear their fangs, so to speak.
Yeah, really a surprising lack of vitality in game number 1 for sure.
Pass down, Lion Blaze. Pushing it straight back over to the corner.
Oh, here we go. Good chance.
Liquid with a tap on. J-Bot's going to be forced to react. Well, slightly off target, but J-Bot, he was not going to take any risks with that one. 2s is definitely a very swingy game mode, as we have seen in previous weeks. Once the team starts nailing 1 or 2 goals in the back of the net, that can really go to 3, 4, 5. We've seen even further than that before, and J-Bot, he's not going to get punished for this. A miss from Liquid.
2 things wrong there, unfortunately. Liquid, the first go around, he thought he wasn't going to have a play. He was expecting a clear, wasn't ready to take advantage. And the second one around, not sure if he tried to go for the fake or not, but either way, missed the ball.
Play out again. J-Bot. 0 boost for him. The tap up. Very Sizzle Your Cob-esque. Look to try and push their way forward that tiny bit more. Nice challenge from Pluto. He's got the ball forward. Now it's the 1v1, and they're backing down again.
Yeah, don't understand why they're backing off a lot of these balls. Now it's going to be another free one, probably.
It's going to be J-Bot trying to follow up. Pluto over to Liquid. They've got to make this one count. They have the 2v1 advantage, and they just haven't been able to transition it away. In fact, they are back onto defense once again. 30 seconds remaining here. Lethality looking to try and get their 4th, and for Genesis, this is not the performance that they would have wanted.
Yeah, 3 unassisted. Not the best clear by Liquid. It's not bad. Tries to fix it, and to be fair, if Pluto hasn't just been demoed back in the corner, then that one's probably okay because Pluto can make that stop, but unfortunate. Great demo, though, from Lethality. Make sure that one had a free chance.
4 goals to nothing. That will spell the end of game number 1. Lion Blaze just going to go and try and pad the stats a little bit. Infield pass. J-Bot's not going to be there for that one. Too central. J-Bot looking for the ceiling reset. He did get it.
Do they get one?
And maybe there's going to be 1 on the cards here for Genesis. This one has to go in.
Okay.
And it will.
Okay, yeah.
So at least there's 1 on the board for Genesis, but it did come from Lethality getting a little bit too fancy.
Yeah, they were kind of just, why not? We've got game 1 in the bag. Who cares? But yeah, not super blown away from Genesis, and you touched on it a little bit. They really just backed out of a couple challenges in the midfield. To be fair, a couple times it was warranted, but they weren't able to make the stops on the other side. And also, a little bit of outplay from Lion Blaze and J-Bot. They had to earn a couple of these goals, and were able to convert those tough chances, and you know, it paid off well for them.
Right then, there's the end of our game number 1 then, and it is Lethality, gentlemen, who take a 4-1 victory in that first game. 5 goals scored during that series. We should quickly remind you that thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent as well, that means 50 meals will be donated to the World Food Program USA. Once again, you can get involved. Head over to wfpusa.org/universal open to get involved with that. But I mean, I'm looking at Genesis there, and a very flat start from them.
Yeah, very much so. I was actually pretty impressed with what we saw to Liquid yesterday. Didn't seem like he was too phased about having to play against Cronovi and Rizzo. Fit in pretty well. Did okay. And today I'm surprised to see him really be nowhere near the same level of effectiveness here versus Lion Blaze and J-Bot. I don't know why, or exactly what it is. I've only seen 5 minutes, but I was kind of expecting a little bit more.
Yeah, and you did mention that Lethality were forced to work for some of their opportunities, but at the same time, it's like half work, really.
Yeah.
They only have to ever beat one player at most. There's a lack of challenges. Usually you want to have someone around who can challenge early, they force the move, and then the person behind can sort of sweep it up. But because they just seem so afraid of the midfield right now, they get one chance to stop these, and if that doesn't work, it's in.
Okay, well, I mean, we're talking about Genesis not performing. Let's talk about Lethality and what they did so well in that game, because it's easy to pick on one side and say what they're not doing well, but you have to give credit to the team who are taking advantage of that.
Yeah, Lethality, I don't know why that name is so hard to say.
Yeah, that's much easier than what yesterday.
But yeah, they actually did a great job. They took a lot of the space away. They didn't run out of boost. I was kind of expecting Pluto and Genesis to be able to control a little bit more of the boost. You say Pluto's tentative. Maybe I just haven't seen him in a while. I've always thought he's been positioned pretty well, but overall, I kind of expected Lethality to be boxed in a little bit more, and to see them have no issues with that at all is definitely to be commended.
Yeah, I think I would like to compliment them more, but a lot of the opportunities they're getting are just given to them, more or less. They're finishing it, but it feels like they've sort of skipped towards the end of the story. They haven't really had to build through it just yet. And, you know, you only have to deal with what you're getting given, and I hope as this series goes along that Genesis will be able to provide them more of a challenge so we can see more parts of it. But right now, they're just finishing pretty simple opportunities that are just getting handed over to them.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job of obviously taking those opportunities. It can't be understated. Just even giving those opportunities, you still have to take them, of course.
Exactly.
And we have seen teams fall out of competition by not doing that. But, I mean, looking into this game number 2, are you expecting... Obviously, Genesis have got to change something up a little bit here, because they seem very disjointed in that game number 1. It didn't seem like the team that we saw yesterday for whatever reason. Yeah,
if you're Genesis, I mean... throw caution to the winds, I think, a little bit. Really force them to make some great plays in the center field. Yes, you'll have to take a couple of risks, but I think, you know, in game number 2 and you're down 1, you might as well go for it, because I think Pluto and Liquid are definitely capable of really pressuring Lion Blaze and J-Bot, and I would like to see them take that approach.
And you can't afford to sit back and wait for things to happen in this, because it's the elimination bracket, of course. You know, every single game today, if a team loses, they're out of the tournament. They're done. They're dusted. This is their final chance today to get through to that regional final. So they've got to change it. They've got to change things up, because otherwise, if they find themselves 2-0 down in this series after the next game, I mean, the pressure's already there with the elimination bracket looming over these people. But, I mean, if they don't win this game, they're facing 3 potential match points and 3 chances of elimination.
Yeah, it's not going to get easy either. Like, if you get past this stage, you're going to just take on a stronger team in the next round. So for them, it has to be now. Okay, you've got to start getting this sorted out now. You've got to start being much more aggressive. And I would like to see them start to transition out, because there's a lot of times I'm seeing you can get a 2v1 opportunity on the side of Genesis, and they just sort of leave it. They struggle to play away.
Here we go then. Game number 2, gentlemen, is underway, as you can see. Hopefully Genesis can turn this around, but no, Lethality get on the board first.
Not a good start for Genesis, for sure. Liquid had to keep that initial kickoff off, and Pluto just... to be fair, there's nowhere for him to really go. He went over to that side to grab the boost, and it's just coming back at a bad angle, and just unfortunate, really.
It's sort of a double-edged sword what we're seeing here, because Lethality, they are nowhere near as fancy as we saw them yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of what they're doing is just pretty basic shots towards the backboard or just on net. Most of the opportunities for Lethality are just coming from the fact that Genesis are struggling to clear. They can't find a safe zone. J-Bot over the top. Good challenge there from Liquid, but Pluto can't follow up, and Lion Blaze, he knows he's got all the time in the world. And that might just squeeze in. Maybe, just maybe, that one being close might add a little bit of confidence as J-Bot tried to play that one to the side of the challenge.
But I do at least like seeing Pluto and Liquid take a bit more aggressive approach on the challenges. They haven't quite gone as well as they would have hoped so far, but they've only allowed one, and that one will find its way into the back. Lion Blaze caught a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, J-Bot couldn't quite win the challenge, and for Pluto, he was just the much quicker player in that race. I don't think even if Lion Blaze did go free, he was going to get there in time.
Yeah, he was whipped.
But for Genesis, that's exactly what they need. An opportunity where they were the faster team, something that they didn't really manage at all during the previous series. And now Liquid stole the back boost as well. This could be another opportunity for Genesis. I got a little bit too overconfident with that full boost. Something the momentum is out, and what a touch that is from Lion Blaze, right underneath the defender.
That's a great shot from Lion Blaze, but I actually watched Pluto all the way back. He had one heck of a ways to go to try and recover for that one with no boost. And to be fair, he almost made it. That's just a perfectly placed ball from Lion Blaze right there.
Predicting the pre-jump and got there just underneath. So Lethality re-establishing their lead. J-Bot taps it up. Struggles to make too much of this. He's unchallenged for quite a while, and Pluto's got the ball over the top of him. J-Bot looking to try and get it straight back out to Lion Blaze, but too much angle for the shot.
All right, 2-on-1. Here we go.
Liquid gonna go the entire way by himself. Pre-jump from J-Bot. Those can be so difficult to get enough power to push it to the side, but he has done it. It's a much better game so far.
Might be free the other way. Tried to steal boost, but that first touch, just a little bit off center.
And once again, Genesis, this is the third time I've seen them in this series where they've had the 2v1 and they only used one player. Lion Blaze, he's going to go straight out hunting. That's how you utilize two. And Lethality have got a 2-goal lead.
And this is actually all set up by that first player beat by Lion Blaze right there. He hard cuts Pluto, looked out in front of him as he picked up that dribble. Said, all right, Pluto's coming from here. Pluto, you know, doing exactly what I wanted them to do. Get aggressive on those challenges, get up in their face on their own half, and that's just a straight out play from Lion Blaze to get that one going.
Back to the corner again. Pluto gets the ball around him. Liquid forcing the clear. Back up to the side. Pluto is going to try and follow up his own touch.
Block.
It's a great challenge, but Liquid's already in the middle trying to pick up some boost after his previous offensive exploits. Now Liquid, he's going to be forced to save. Early flick from him, forced out by the faked challenge from Lion Blaze. This is an opportunity. Liquid couldn't get it over the top, but now Genesis looking to squeeze down on the defense, but all the way back. Pluto, I mean, all the way on the goal line. He's waiting to see what will be attacking him. Lion Blaze takes the opportunity. Liquid's got to get here for this. Taking his time again. Genesis, they run the risk of being boost starved.
Pluto already is.
Crucial challenge from Liquid.
He's not going to make it. You said they ran the risk of being boost starved, and Pluto was trying to push upfield with, 5-6 boost right there. That's exactly the case again here. Is this one in front, and he got there. What a save.
Yeah, J-Bot tried to fake out, but there's the follow. Once again, save Pluto. Keeping it from being a 4-1 lead. And with this much time remaining, that is crucial.
This touch. Needed that one. Would have been a great pass.
Liquid, he's got one more to go. J-Bot is gonna be there for that. J-Bot has just done so well in every 1v1 situation he's been put in, offensively or defensively. And now he's got another one, and he's gonna take it all the way past. 4 goals to 1. Genesis, they showed some fight, but it's being quickly extinguished.
I said that Lion Blaze and J-Bot were gonna have to switch things up to beat Genesis, and they the best part is they've done exactly the same thing they did yesterday. Dribbles and making people miss, just on the ground instead of in the air. And, they absolutely have to be commended for that. They're making Pluto and Liquid look silly so often.
Liquid, one-on-one against Lion Blaze, who will be pushing to the corner. Boost steal from Liquid. There's 100 boost to start this play from J-Bot. Won't be able to use it too well. It's all about just killing the time off, and effectively, they have not done that. Lethality, they're not like G2. They won't settle down on a lead, and they maybe pushed a bit too hard here.
Well, not so much pushed a little bit too hard. It's just the pass was a little bit too far forward. It was okay, so yeah, I guess they did push a little bit too hard by not letting it go and just going back on defense. But yeah, a little bit over aggression, but I think with 2 goals up and a minute left, I think they'll be okay.
Those are awful last words in these sort of
I
situations.
think they'll be okay. What's the worst that could happen?
Lion Blaze gets it just over the top. The follow
So
is there
smart.
from J-Bot. 3-goal lead re-established once again. With 40 seconds left, that could very well do it.
Oh, it's just that awareness from Lion Blaze. Not sure if he messed up the shot or not, but either way, he got Pluto to dive at that ball because he was so scared of him putting it into that upper left-hand corner. And Lion Blaze just again sets it up perfectly. They're so good at just making Genesis miss. It's amazing how much they control the defense with the dribbles they have.
There's the pass across and lethality. Why defend when you could just make your opponents feel really bad? Goal after goal after goal from them.
They make it look so easy. They've got great awareness. I mean, I honestly thought they were kind of going to get crushed by Liquid and Pluto here, but you know, if we were to pick a team to upset somebody on day 3, Lethality's looking like it for me.
Are they this week's Doombug and King Rani, are they?
Oh no.
Is this your Joker card?
No, they're going to make it through.
Ooh. All right, we'll be coming back to this later on at Chiefs, but we want to see the big predictions. Lion Blaze far side from him. Just get bumped away, but for lethality, this is just them toying with
It's amazing.
some very well-respected members of this community. J-Bot, okay, we haven't seen one of these just yet, and we're not going to see one just now.
I think they tried to pinch it. Oh, they almost got there. Good try, but to answer your question, Shogun, I think if they're going to beat anybody, they've got a pretty good chance. It's been the slow, incremental build-up for them. You know, yesterday they had to play CP Slow Mona. Today they're playing Pluto and Liquid. Who do they play later on? Who knows?
Well, that was an impressive all-round performance from both of those young
Actually,
gentlemen.
I'm gonna look who they would
That
play.
was super impressive. I mean, we talked about yesterday how the best players in the world are those ones who mix it up, who keep you guessing on how they're gonna attack. We saw pretty much everything from them. We saw infield passes, we saw dribbles, we saw flicks. They literally just brought the arsenal out there and just put on a show for us.
Well, it's the funny thing. It's like, it's not necessarily a different way of attacking. It's been a dribble every single time. It's just the control that they're able to execute those dribbles. They never make a poor first touch. They always get a great setup for themselves. They always have the option to just send somebody forward, and they just straight up outplay their opposition. It's amazing.
And it's always the off-ball player I've actually been very impressed with. They seem to just know exactly what the play is. If it's an infield pass, they are already in position for it. If it is not, they are covering every other option. Apart from one time, lethality are just not overstretching themselves. They are very aggressively controlling the field.
If they do overstretch themselves, it's because they know they can get away with it. They're just really smart players.
I'm impressed with what I've seen from them so far, and I know you touched on it there. You touched on it because you saw a fish and you went for the bait. Achieves.
Yes.
You think that
Absolutely.
okay,
Absolutely,
all right, that's
I
what I
think
like.
so.
Confidence, conviction. You think they're going to be the team to maybe cause an upset?
If there is going to be an upset this week, it's going to be this team.
No. If there's going to be an upset, is there going to be an upset, Chiefs?
There's been an upset every week.
He's still not
He's
saying
not.
that.
All right, I'll
That's
commit
what
on
I'll
set.
leave it at.
Okay.
I'll commit.
Sit on that fence, buddy. You stay on there. It's comfortable. Anyway, do you know what? Are we gonna? I'm saying they're not. I don't know why. I'm saying they're not. I want them to prove me wrong, but I don't think they're going to be the upset team. I think this week we're not going to have an upset team.
See, it's difficult because the way I sort of foresee it is that they make it to that final day,
Yeah.
and I believe that they would have a rematch against Smiley. That's the way I see this one going, and that one was a 5-game series last
That's
time.
true.
So
Yeah, that could go either way.
That could go either way, just for the sake of actually making a decision.
Ooh,
I would say
scathing.
they'd make
Smiley
it.
have actually been eliminated, so that won't be the matchup.
Yeah, Smiley have been.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Wah, wah.
Well, at least I
But
went
thanks
for it. I
trying,
went for it.
Shogun.
Yeah, you know what?
Thanks
I'm still good
trying.
for all this.
That's why we have you here, because you're a tryer, not a
Scratch
doer.
off lottery and whiff.
Okay, let's talk about this game number 3. Obviously, Genesis facing elimination here. We could talk about what they've got to do differently, but they've got to wake up, because it feels like they just haven't been in these last 2 games.
I don't know. If you're asking what you have to do differently, it's defend the dribble better, I guess. How do you defend the dribble better?
Yeah.
There's no
It's a
good
tough one.
answer to that. It's just like, look, they're either going to whip you or they're not. And it's just, do you make the challenge? Find out.
I think at this point, you've just got to be aggressive, have you not?
You
know,
have
you've
to.
Gotta,
They've
gotta
tried.
take the
They
challenge
tried that in Game 2. That was the best part. It's
That's a
like
good
they
point.
didn't back off of any challenges. They went for them, and they got beat almost every time.
Do you think it's a case of these two players just outclassing them at the moment, Shogun?
Yeah, it really is. I think it's pretty much a two-pronged problem of, A, they're not able to defend the dribbles, and even if they were, they'd likely get beat to the ball
'Cause they just pass
afterwards.
it.
So it's very hard for them to try and fix that right now. It's pretty much just got to be all ball control all the time for Genesis if they want to have a chance here.
Yeah, I guess you got to hold on to the ball. It's the only thing you got left to try.
Score one goal, put it in the corner, and just build a wall of cars.
Which car would you choose?
Mercs.
Smart man.
Mercs bring perks. There's not many of them. Liquid can't do much there. He's going to require Pluto to help him out. It's going to be J-Bot just able to control. And this has been something I don't like from Genesis. Just launching the ball over. You've got a team that you know are very comfortable with ball control. You don't need to give them that much time. Pluto.
Oh, it's
Possibly
so
challenged.
aggressive.
Liquid can't get there. Double tap won't be around either, but you can already see J-Bot is returning back to his side of the field. Now Pluto, backboard for him. He's got the double tap. That might actually drop down in a very awkward position, but Liquid, he doesn't want a single thing to do with that. Already on the halfway line, Genesis looking to try and pick up this first goal, but it is very claustrophobic over in the middle of the field now.
Ooh, did he get that boost? J-Bot did.
Now midfield, Lion Blaze off the backboard. J-Bot, that is one
what a
heck of an
touch.
angle he's got to hit. And of course he's going to hit it.
Just perfect shot from J-Bot. Stole the boost in the corner, dished it out to the top of the box, and again, the off-ball player that you were talking about, so smart. Lion Blaze says, look, he's in the corner. If he wins that ball, he gets it right out to where I'm sitting. If he doesn't, that's fine. I'll just run away. They don't have any boost to do anything. They're so smart. I love it.
J-Bot holding himself off as Pluto looks for the infield pass. Once again, J-Bot just able to take control. And now a long clear. Lion Blaze can try and follow this one up. Valley can take this one and move on to the next round of the tournament. And Genesis would indeed be out unless they've got something left in their pocket to surprise lethality.
Oh, I was watching J-Bot right there, and before he jumped at that ball, he took off ball cam to see if Liquid was right there. And that's something that might get you caught out versus a really top-level team, like, say, NRG or something like that, whose position's so close.
That's a player that's been playing a lot of ones. That is a
Yeah.
habit you pick up in ones.
Say, hang on, are they there? Before you do anything. And it's worked out brilliantly for him so far.
J-Bot being hounded over the side by Pluto. Instead, Lion Blaze will be the first player to this one as Pluto looks to go up onto his own backboard for the clear. It's pretty loose. Pluto can't get a bump either as Lion Blaze just teasing the opportunity that he can go forward for a challenge. J-Bot with the follow-up. And back corner will be picking up pretty soon. Genesis needs to make sure they get a hold of it, but that is a great challenge. Lion Blaze backwards, still does well enough with it as Pluto looks to try and add some more pressure to the orange side of the field. But it's gone away pretty quickly now. Now lethality can start searching for their second goal.
Oh, Liquid waited. What was J-Bot trying to do there?
I'm not sure where he thought he was going to get the power.
Maybe he thought he had a flip. I believe that.
Everyone, like...
Everyone thinks they have a flip, though. Where is my flip?
Liquid, this is his chance. Takes it right down the middle, and Lion Blaze finds that one.
You know, Pluto and Liquid have kept this game much closer in terms of the scoreline, though. They've limited a lot of scoring opportunities, but they can't generate any, and this one's going to be free. Great challenge from Lion Blaze at the top of the box. J-Bot lurking close by says, oh, he won. I'll just turn around and score.
And it's just a level of comfortableness. You know what? Let's go for that word.
It's
But
just
for Genesis, they just don't seem happy to challenge over in that final third. That second player doesn't want to be really too high up there, but for lethality, it's just second nature.
yeah, they're like,
going
sure,
for
why
it.
not?
Pluto beats that ball. Any more goals, and Genesis can kiss goodbye to their chances at this $100,000 prize pool. Really got to throw everything at this now.
I will
the
say,
drop down. That's going to drop straight down. Liquid, he's got to be going for this.
No
He's
boost.
coming so late, though. And J-Bot, he will happily just control once again.
There we go.
45 seconds
Pass
on the
back.
clock. J-Bot
Pass
straight
back.
back down to Lion Blaze.
I love it.
Lovely 1-2 play. And Lethality could very well have sealed the deal.
Unselfish. Liquid just bites on the first one. Lost track of where J-Bot was on the field. J-Bot saw Liquid jump and said, all right, this one's going in the back. All I have to do is hand it off. It's brilliant. Teamwork's there, pressure's there, mechanics are there. I really want to see these guys play some strong competition.
J-Bot. You know, I think the switch has just been flipped. He is now to J-Bot mode.
Let's go up the wall. Let's have fun. Why not? Everything else has worked out for him.
Liquid back down. J-Bot going to continue the challenge, but this was the question answered in this series. We came into it asking, okay, Lethality, we know
What
you
can
can
you do
style,
now?
but what have you actually got in your arsenal of tricks? And they've got plenty.
It's so amazing. You know, it's like, how have these guys not been on a team near
So here's
the
what I
rival
really
series
like
or something like that?
achieves.
What's up?
Some players out there just put LFT in their name and they go into ranked, hoping
Uh-huh.
for a team.
Yeah.
Some players out there put LFT and post it on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Lion Blaze puts LFT in his name and goes onto the Universal Open and styles on everybody. Everyone out there, you see that name? This is advertising for your cause. Learn from it.
It's a brilliant way to do it, that's for sure.
The friend requests will be
Pouring in.
insurmountable.
All the Twitter DMs. Make sure your Twitter DMs are open, Lion Blaze. That's all I'm saying.
That will be the game over. Genesis are out.
Yeah, Genesis. Why are we struggling with team names so much over the last few days? Must be something in the air. But yeah, Genesis are out. But Lethality, I mean, we need to give them all the plaudits in the world.
Absolutely.
I mean, Lion Blaze, he heard your call, and then he scored a beautiful goal to end things off. Marketing 101, people. Get involved next season in the Universal Open, because that's what it could do for your career, potentially, yeah. But what a fantastic performance. No worries, no shakes from them, just closed out the series.
Yeah, it's like game number 1, Genesis maybe gave them a couple of opportunities, but games 2 and 3, it was literally just stop this if you can. And you know, Genesis, we're in a decent position to make a couple of them. Got a little bit stuck on their own half sometimes just because they didn't have a lot of boost. But J-Bot and Lion Blaze said whatever, any situation that Genesis threw at them, they had an answer. And that's what you absolutely need to have to be, you know, great contenders here in the UO.
And there's a lot to be said for very good saves out there, but for Lethality, they took defending one step further. They just didn't allow Genesis to do anything offensively. So we don't know if we don't really know how good their saves are. But they haven't had to. They're
had to make some tough
controlling
ones.
everything else. So who needs to defend?
They had to make a couple, and they made them. That's the important thing. So
Absolutely.
we know they've potentially got that in the locker as well. And you almost feel like there's potentially more to come the further in the tournament they get. So excited to see how Lethality will get on. They will, of course, move on in the bracket. But there were 18 goals scored during that series. Very one-sided series. Only 3 of those going to Genesis. And thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, that means 180 meals going to the World Food Programme USA for the final time. In this section, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open to get involved. Now let's have a look at the bracket and see how that affects things. Of course, Lethality will be moving on in the bracket now and moving on in that elimination side of the bracket as well. We can see
Who
that
do they
they're
play?
at the bottom. They're going to be playing the
They're going to play
Rejects.
Applesauce or G2 in day 3.
They are going to be playing one of those 2 teams, but
Never mind.
teams that we're going to have coming up next are Team Summoner RL versus Lights Out. I believe that will be our next game. We'll take a quick look at the fixtures, actually, which we have coming up next. And there it is. We have a Team Summoner RL versus Lights Out. I think one of the teams had a bit of an issue today with connection or something like that, so it'll just be the 3 games, unfortunately, today, but there's still going to be 3 very exciting games. We'll be finishing off with the Rejects versus Lethality for a chance to go into the finals of our losers bracket. Now, of course, we always want to hear from you guys at home as well. Use that hashtag UOS2 and head over to Twitter as well. Follow us at Universal Open to keep up to date, because we're getting to the end of the qualifiers now. It's all about the live events coming soon and that grand final. So make sure you follow us over there and make sure you don't miss out on a thing. But that is going to do it for our game number 1. It's been a pleasure to bring it to you, but we're going to have another game coming up just after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
So you'll be here to help if I need you?
I got you.
What about here?
Yep.
Here?
Yes, Kyle.
And here's Sir Robert from State Farm.
If you invite me.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Yes, yes.
We're watching the Universal Open together.
And he was in charge of the snacks.
I might have gone a little overboard.
Brisk Dual Force Guava Ginger Limeade, exclusively available at 7-Eleven for a limited time.
Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is?
Helpless, and the walls are caving in. Can't breathe now, losing my sanity. I'm calling, shouting out your name. I'm calling. Is this really what I think it is?
And welcome back, everybody, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. It's time for our second game of the evening. And that game, of course, is going to be Sub in RL taking on Lights Out. Now, gentlemen, we saw one of these teams yesterday. Give us a little refresher on Lights Out and what they brought to the table yesterday.
So Lights Out, yesterday, that got to play Sizzle Your Cob, so not fun for anybody who has to do that. But they actually put up a pretty good fight. Every single game was a one-goal game. They kept it pretty close. Unfortunately, they ended up losing 3-1, but very impressed with how they played yesterday. High hopes for them today.
Now, Sub in RL, we haven't seen anything from them on the broadcast so far in the tournament, Shogun. A little bit of an unknown quantity, these two players, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's sort of players that you sort of see their names floating around, but never really have got to the point where they really have the focus put on them. I think it's pretty much going to be one of the first times for that. But all we do know is that they came in yesterday. They had to take on G2 Esports B. They lost that one, and not really too much of a surprise there. But this
a
is
lot of people do lose it.
Yeah, it's nothing to be. You can hold that one and not feel too sad about that. But now this is their opportunity, to really step up. Lights Out, like you said, had a ridiculously good performance yesterday, despite losing to Sizzle Your Cob. So could be curious, because we've been caught out a few times on this broadcast by names that we're not too sure about.
It's very true. This is the perfect place to make a name for yourself. We've learned that in the previous week so far here in the Universal Open. But, I mean, we got to remind everyone as well, this is all elimination games today, so unfortunately the loser of this match will be going home, or will be staying at home because they're playing at home. But you know what I mean, they're at the tournament. But a real opportunity here to get into what I would say are the crunch matches of this elimination bracket. If you make it through that first game, you get that confidence. And then I always enjoy the latter games in these elimination brackets, because you can almost feel the pressure in every misplay, and those misplays start to appear a little bit more because of that pressure.
Yeah, we're going to get ourselves into this one nice and quick. It's game number 1 underway. Lights Out versus Team Sub in RL. There actually might be some tech issues on one of these players.
What's up? Who we looking at?
Sub into teammate. Oh no, he's back moving again. There was just a moment or two where very much not moving, and now everyone is very much not moving.
Restarted.
Hey, we're back. Hey, what's going on, people? Yeah, we
it was too quick for everyone. They were all just
everyone
was shocked.
Yeah, I think they missed. What's it called? Went early before the gun went.
Debated.
Debated. That's it. Yeah, debated in the chat.
Also false start. But
full start. Yeah, I was right. I knew it, but
same
I
thing.
second guessed myself. But yeah, I mean, where was I? What was the question I asked you before we were rudely interrupted by that gameplay?
Ooh, wow. So Lights Out played well.
We were talking about the pressure of the elimination bracket and how mistakes can start to appear towards the end of the elimination bracket because of that pressure.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. But Summit and Dark Demise, it's tough to say if they've ever dealt with that kind of pressure, because it's two players who've been around the scene for a really long time, easily since at least 2016. I remember subbing in 2015, like back when I used to be kind of decent at this game comparatively. So they've been around for a long time, but I'm not sure they've dealt with that high-pressure $100,000 level of in the losers bracket. You have to win these games to go forward. It's a lot to ask.
It is a stressful evening for a lot of these players, isn't it? But there is the opportunity at the end of the tunnel. That's the big thing for them. You know, the learning experience of being in this tournament play and being put under that pressure, and obviously the opportunity to make it to those live regional finals, which is a huge stepping stone for a lot of these players. If you can make it to that live environment, I was always taught when I was growing up and I was playing myself, that you learn more from one LAN event than you do from 3 or 4 months of playing online, because the pressure is there, because the situations are always different. And that's what the opportunity is for some of these players that we haven't heard of. If you can make it to that next stage, that next level, you really can progress as a player and a team.
Yeah, I mean, you get the opportunity just to talk properly as well. You get to sit down with these other professional players who have been around the block and have seen everything. It's an opportunity where you're literally in a room with them. Why not talk about what they've been through and how to get up to that next level? Because most people in the community, they're happy to talk about themselves, you know, especially if you get the opportunity to say, you know, you did this really well. Talk about, everyone wants to talk about the things that they've done really well in life, so I'm sure it's
yes,
very
I'm
much the same
staring at a
thing.
guy who does that a lot.
I would never do
I was just about, you just beat me to it. I was like, everyone likes to talk about themselves. I was like, that's just you, Shogun.
No.
I'm only joking, mate.
I love you too.
I never
Not
said
you.
that. But it's fine. No, I mean, it is. We talk about progression and of a player and how the Universal Open has allowed a lot of players to progress. Like players that we went into, you know, came into the event and we've had a few weeks where we've been like, oh, we haven't heard of these players. These are new players to us. You know, what can they bring to the table? Can they impress us? And they have done that. And I would suggest to anyone who is, you know, making their way in Rocket League, wants to make it to that next level, to obviously enter these tournaments, you know, to get involved, because it does give you that stepping stone and that progression.
Well, it's very much become a case of, as Rocket League's progressing, towards the very beginning, everyone was playing against everyone all the time, because that was just sort of where it was. It was online tournaments only. We had big open tournaments where everyone's taking part. But as Rocket League has progressed, suddenly that little division is starting to get set up now between the pro players and the amateurs. The open tournaments like this one is the Universal Open. You know, big opportunity right there. It's one of your only opportunities where you can get a hold of these players and you get to play against these players where they are locked in serious. A lot of the other open tournaments we have right now are sort of online tournaments, you know, not worth as much, sort of opportunities for teams where they can pretty much use them as pseudo scrims.
Something to do, isn't it? Yeah.
But you put $100,000 on the line, you're about to learn something because they are about to play you for real.
Yeah, it's a very interesting opportunity for all these players, and if you're thinking about getting involved next season, make sure that you do. Of course, you can head over to Twitter, follow at Universal Open, and have a little scroll through. I'm sure there's lots of information about how to get involved as well. And we always want to hear from you guys as well, so use that hashtag UOS2 if you've got any questions for these guys. Just while we're waiting for this lobby to get sorted and get set up, we're trying to get into the game as soon as we can. We don't want to keep you guys waiting too much. We want to bring you some action, but I want to put you guys on the spot now because I love doing this. It's my favourite thing to do. Who is qualifying from the Western region right now for the regionals?
I think Shogun and I would both agree on G2 and Suzuki-Cobb. I think we're pretty set on those two. I think yesterday we also felt pretty good about Applesauce. I like them. And
so that's your upper side of the bracket sorted.
For
on
sure.
The lower.
Well, I think Applesauce might have to go through the lower bracket. Depends how tomorrow goes. Suzuki-Cobb versus Applesauce could really be. Or do they play G2? It doesn't matter. It could go either way tomorrow on the upper bracket. But I think G2 or Suzuki-Cobb, regardless of whether they lose tomorrow, go through one way or the other. Applesauce and CLG. Not sure about CLG, despite them being the number 4 seed. I like Applesauce, though. So there's 3 knocked out for me, and I think 4 might be lights out.
Okay, well, let's see if that comes true. It looks like the game is ready to get underway. It is indeed. Here we go. Sub and RL versus Lights Out.
Well, take 2 on this one. Subin immediately passes straight off in the middle. Dark Demise looking for his opportunity. He's forced to play the ball over into the corner. Subin definitely has been around the block, but this is the biggest stage I've seen him on.
Dark Demise has also spent a fairly decent chunk of time around the top level. Spent a lot of time on no capes back in 2016, and ever since then he's been around the top level of play, not with pros or anything, but you know, near that bubble range.
Aeon looking for the backboard, tries to get the drop down, but can't quite get there before. Subin just shut that one immediately down. Now Dark Demise can't quite get control of the ball, still forcing it through. And that is a big challenge, a hopeful challenge, and at the end of the day, a non-useful challenge. And Lights Out got the lead.
It was a pretty clean one. Subin just tried. Just got, again, we talk a lot about it here on the Universal Open, I feel, Shogun, because that first touch is so important. Far more important in 2v2 than it is in 3v3, because as soon as you lose control of the ball, you know there's going to be teams that are willing to jump on it, like we saw G2 yesterday. Any touch that was even just slightly too hard, they're on top of it.
Lights Out. Just trying to force their way through to the next round. Infield pass. Nomad's got a goal to aim at, and he's not going to miss that one. Picture perfect infield passing play.
Yeah, who's in the net? Nope. Yeah, Subban came in from the top of the box and just didn't really have time to react. Maybe if he stays on the line and doesn't drive out a net a little bit, he might be able to react to that, but having to loop back around and get in the middle of the net makes that a real tough one to save.
Now 2-0. Lights out. In the driver's seat to start us off. Dr. Mize for the first offensive opportunity for Team Subban, but once again, Subban's jumped early. Maybe a bit of nerves here because there's been a couple of commits, and I'm classing a commit as any time you are taking all of your wheels off the floor in a difficult position to recover. And Team Subban are going for not even half opportunities, they're just sort of launching themselves when they don't need to. Now to the side, Aeon just steals the boost. Turns himself around, as he does watch as Nomad comes in for a challenge. Now Aeon, not going to challenge here either, instead he's going to pick up his own boost.
Oh, what a clear.
That is exactly why. I think he has managed to save up 200 boost overall for that one. He's going to follow it up. 3-0. Lights out, putting on a clinic.
Man, it's all about that timing when you catch those clears off your back wall. If you wait for it, as soon as it bounces off that wall, you can really launch that thing down the pitch. And I'm sure the thing he's most upset about is that it didn't go straight in. He had to finish it off.
At the end of the day, it's from a much more difficult position, but it is just a half volley. All you're trying to achieve.
It is just a half volley. Wah wah.
Aeon. He's not got the infield passing option. That's going to be passed straight back to him. Nomad pushing it to the side. Going to be challenged. That's a good challenge as well. Team Subban RL needs to get something going right now. They're going to really up the aggression. 3 goals down. What's another one against them at this point? You've got to really go for it. Although they're not going to get a chance for it. That one's going to bounce off the post. And Nomad, he thought about it, but instead he's going to let Aeon stick around. And this is exactly why. Now a 1v1 play. That was actually a very, very good recovery, but they have double committed. Nomad keeping himself going. He's past 1.
Oh, what a
challenge. A great challenge to take it past 2. I don't know if Dr. Mize can get here in time, and he is not going to be able to. That's 4-0. Lights out really showing up.
Oh, yeah. You're asking what the secret is? They're just winning the challenges in the midfield. And Dr. Mize and Subban, you touched on a little bit, they're really willing to commit to things, which I don't think is a bad thing, but, you know, when there's no way to recover from something that goes wrong, you end up with a scoreline like this. Lights Out haven't done too much to really beat Dr. Mize. It's just said, hey, we won that challenge, and Dr. Mize and Subban just haven't been ready for it all the way.
You did mention that Lights Out have been winning the majority of the challenges. I remember the last series they played was against Jacob and Sizz, the team that we have seen challenge more than anybody else in this entire qualifier. So it's got to be like taking the training weights off
at
this point and saying, oh my, we can breathe? Aeon, gonna try and find that fit.
Oh, Subban
can't quite get through, and that will be just tucked neatly into the corner.
I said Subban because I saw him running out to the corner to grab boost, and he got clipped by Nomad on the way there, and to make matters worse, he didn't even get all the way to the corner to grab it. And to his credit, he tried to make it back, but nothing going.
Well, 5-0 currently for Lights Out. Might be 5-1, and that will be exactly what Team Subban RL needs. It'll take a miracle for them to get back into this one, but at least they've got something going.
Yeah, pretty decent first touch from the Subban as well. Got that ball to come out, and it's pretty much straight back to him, because if that ball goes up, there's no way that one finds its way on target. It coming right back out, forced Aeon and Nomad to back off the kickoff and give them the space they needed. At that point, it's just nailing the pass.
Aeon using the width. He's going to just take his time and really toy about with the defense. I've been disappointed by one thing so far from Lights Out.
What's that?
Not a single delayed kickoff from Nomad so far.
Why does that disappoint you?
Because I saw it and I loved it yesterday. I loved the kickoff version of rock, paper, scissors we were seeing between him and I believe it was Jacob.
It really is what kept him in the game versus Suzuka. A lot of kickoff goals for him.
Oh, that is a poor challenge from Subban. Basically, he's used to make the shot even more powerful to clear it away. Now 35 seconds left. This one is all but over, but there is still damage to be done, and Aeon, he's not got the booster to finish that one off. Unfortunately for him, the boost in the corner will not be spawning just yet. It's not going to be spawning for anybody. Dark Demise, 0 boost. He's going to steal one finally in the far side, but that is a great block from Nomad. And then Dark Demise just there in time.
It's like that's the reason you're seeing a score line of 5-1 with only 8 shots for Aeon and Nomad. Because, you know, normally you put up 5 shots, you're usually putting up double-digit shot numbers, you know? You've got a lot of pressure. But you're looking at such a low stat line because Aeon and Nomad, again, haven't really created a ton of chances. Dark Demise and Subin, when they haven't been caught completely off guard, have actually defended the pitch fairly well. They haven't been able to really convert or create too many chances for themselves, but they haven't allowed too many. The only things they've allowed is just saying, hang on, we lost that one, and they can't recover.
Okay, there it is. The Chiefs breaking it down
That's
for
all
you
they
right
did.
here.
They just lose one challenge and they're like, and they can't fix it.
Yeah, well, they won the first game. Obviously, Lights Out. Sub and RL struggling a little bit as far as the scoreline is concerned. But like you say, maybe a slightly closer game than the stats show. But Lights Out very clinical when it came to being in front of goal.
Yeah, and you're just going to see it a lot of times here. Lights Out just being that little bit better position compared to Team Sub and RL. A lot of these challenges that you're going to see them lose, Sub and RL come in from a side angle, and it just means that they are always going to lose to the straightforward bumper use from Lights Out. And the majority of these goals, it is always going to be Sub and RL trying to rotate back, trying to recover from the failed challenge, and often just not there in time.
Yeah, they're so close. And you're absolutely right. It's just the positioning on those challenges. And you have to wonder if it comes back to the first touch or not. Whether it's just too much behind it and they can't really follow it up the way they like. And it's definitely going to have to be something they try and fix. But as long as I think they keep a little bit in reserve, I think they keep a much closer scoreline in game number 2.
It's one of those interesting things, isn't it, than 2s. Obviously, you know, if we're playing 3s there, maybe pretty much 100% of those goals do not happen.
Overtime.
Yeah, exactly. It's just because it's such a... I love how... I can't remember if it was you or Shogun who said it yesterday. It's just such a risk versus reward game type, which
risk management.
It's almost like decision-making becomes even more important in 2s than it does in 3s. And I think we just saw it. I mean, they lost that game 5-1. But some slightly different decision-making in that game, and as you say, it could be 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a much closer game because, again, I don't think Lights Out created that many chances. There were, like, maybe 2 pretty solid ones that they really had, and I think Subin and Dark Demise, if they keep a little bit back, they might be able to recover, and at that point it becomes how well do they clear the ball, because I still think Lights Out have much better pressure, got a much better spread of the field, controlling a lot more space, which is good, but if they keep a little bit back, it becomes can they break out.
And Shogun, what are your thoughts on that game number 1? What excited you, and what did you want to see change up a little bit from one of these teams?
So if you're on the side of Lights Out, this is perfect. They're not... Yeah. Everything they've done is very low risk. Like they're winning challenges with their first player against the last player on the other team's side, so there's no risk for them right now. On the other side, though, I actually want to see the rotation changed a little bit. Try and go wider on the rotation if you are Sub in RL. That way you can cut inwards and then take a better challenge. But what's happening right now is they're towards the middle, which means any angle that is actually put onto the ball is immediately something that you're now turning sideways to go towards. If you can put yourself with more width with your positioning, it means you can go wider into the challenges, or at the very least fake out a challenge and you can start moving back. That's actually what's... Now that I say it out loud, fake some challenges, please.
Yeah,
because
actually, might be a good idea.
They're just running through the ball, and that's going to give you a ball easy to clean up.
Okay, then, well, the players are loading in for our second game of the series. Lights Out, if you just joined us, of course, took that first game 5-1, but maybe the scoreline a little bit flattering on their side of things. Sub and RL, though, they did show some signs of life in that one. I think we could see an elongated series here, so let's get into our game number 2 now. Of course, it's going to be Sub and RL taking on Lights Out.
Sub and RL, they know what the issue is. It's all
that's
now
the question,
about...
though. We know what the issue is.
I think you can see that many goals go against you, and there is no way you can't know what the issue is.
I'm sure they know. You'd hope so. They're better than me, so they better know.
2015 feels so long ago, doesn't it, Chiefs?
It really does.
I miss being in ESL Monthly Elite.
I miss being, you know, in the gold leaderboards in the preseason and think I am good.
Dark Demise, the ball up high. Aeon's just going to beat him to that. He drops down. Sub and RL taking his time, though, will just clear away. Steals the mid boost. Going to leave Nomad with very few options, but Dark Demise trying tried to go straight down the wall. Early ball played. Nomad's just about got there in time. I think someone was just trying to tip it over the top. Wow. Now Dark Demise. This could be his opportunity. He's not going to get a better one than this. Team Subin RL have got the lead.
Yeah, so this was kind of a mismatch of weird problems. Nomad just took a poor angle on that jump, to be completely honest. If he took a couple, maybe extra half second or so to really orient himself to go for that challenge, it's probably completely fine, but a little bit of a panic. To be fair, you can kind of understand the thought process. He knows Dark Demise and Subin have been right on top of things as that one goes off the bar. I just think he got a little bit antsy.
Nomad taking his time. And there's Subin this time around, faking out the challenge. And this is what he can do from it. Immediately plays it back to Dark Demise. Now with the drop, Nomad. Can't quite follow that one up. He's going to get it just over the top of Subin.
He's got to pass. Ah, weak.
Just can't do enough of it. Aeon tried to force it past.
And it will be interesting to see if they take that wider rotation back, because I think oh, wait.
This could be a huge chance, and that is going to be... Well, you've worked so hard for the lead, and to drop it like that is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, Dark Demise, the cardinal sin right there. Off the sidewall in your own half, out into the middle of the pitch, and I think I can understand the thought process. Subin was near that sidewall. He's like, I'll just put it up there, and Subin can go chase it down. The problem is, you know, there's a defender up there already, and you're going to lose that one.
Definitely felt like a case of maybe muscle memory taking over compared to playing the situation you were in. Dark Demise straight to the middle as Nomad. He's been chased down. He needs to try and avoid the potential demo. As Aeon will be in control, but I think he's on low boost. Can't get to that. Nomad past one. Dark Demise with a slight pinch, but that won't be troubling too much. The orange side of the field, and that's going to be a lovely challenge once again. It's down to the middle, bumping plays coming through, and it's just going to go to the side. Lights Out needs to be very worried about this midfield.
Yeah, nice try though from Lights Out on that one. I liked it. Tried to make something out of nothing, and Nomad got aggressive, and they almost made it work. 2-on-1 here.
Now Nomad with the flick. Subin will be by himself. He's done just well enough, and Aeon has been taken out after a demo from Dark Demise. Now Dark Demise to follow. Taking the ball away. Still one goal apiece here, much closer than our previous game.
That's all we wanted. Keep a little bit back and you'll see a much closer game, and that's been exactly the case. And now it's just do Subin and Dark Demise have a way to get themselves on offense, because that's been the entirety of this game number 2. They've literally just been sitting here and banging their heads against a brick wall of a midfield.
Both these teams seem to have gone into a 1-1 rotation, not really willing to commit too much, although that is Nomad being incredibly brave for that ball. Aeon just back in time, 1v1. Dark Demise, he's misflicked, but he's still got something from it. Went straight in for the kill shot. Follow up around, 90 seconds on the clock. Nomad, down to Dark Demise. His touch will be straight over to Aeon. Feels like just one mistake is going to be what is costly, but for which team?
Oh, that might be it.
Dark Demise just... He made himself look big, and that really...
This has been an awkward 30 seconds or so from both teams. Aeon and Nomad haven't been getting the best touches on the ball. Way to buy some space, though.
There's a lot of nerves happening right now from both these teams. Aeon's got the chance off the post! Subin, not around. Boost pick up from Dark Demise. He can take the ball by himself. That could be redirected into the net. We've seen crazier angles throughout this tournament.
Oh, man. Nomad and Aeon have to be so sad they didn't get that dribble on the pitch. They almost ran into each other, and props to them for keeping their head about them and slowing it down and making sure they got the touch. Just couldn't cut it hard enough. Final 30 coming up.
Aeon going for the double tap, and he's not quite got it. Everything to play for right now. Too high from Aeon. Wild, vicious swings at the ball from both these teams.
Absolutely.
It's now becoming a case of not can we score, but can we make sure it stays out of our own net. Next goal, very well could win it. Nomad just can't quite get there in time. Subin RL have left themselves vulnerable numerous times, but it hasn't been capitalized on. One final opportunity, cut across. but won't be around for the shots.
I thought for sure Aaron was going to try and pass that one. He tried to put that into the net.
Now for kickoff. We've just seen how dangerous Lights Out could be. This time around, it could be on the other foot. Subin gets the ball played around him. Aeon, that is going to be such an awkward bounce from him, but Dark Demise has gone for it. Subin by himself with the save. Crucial as well. Dark Demise. We're so thankful as he finally rotates back. But the pressure is not gone just yet.
I think they got a little bit of Game 1 syndrome. They're like, the net's been open every time this has happened, and then they just did too much with it. If he throws that off the back wall, Game 2's over already.
Victory for Lights Out puts them on match point. It would mean that Subin RL have got to win 3 games straight. Nomad looking to see to it. The fake will not work. Dark Demise has got it over the top.
And it's in.
And we have got 1 game apiece.
Oh, man. If you're Lights Out, you're upset. You're so upset. I said they didn't create too many chances, and to be fair, because they spent literally the entire game on offense, they got to create a few more chances, and at that point it became a lack of conversion, and that's going to be really upsetting for them.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how they put the chances away in the first game, didn't get it done in the second game, and it has come back to bite them in the rear because 2-1 in overtime. Subin RL hanging on in this series, gentlemen.
I think hanging on is the perfect word for it as well. They are spending an awful lot of time.
It's like, you know the scene in Lion King when Mufasa's like, I mean,
long
I know
live the king.
Let's go, just stop it before the like really sad part, like the saddest part of any film ever, apart from Ash 9 in Pokemon for a moment. But yeah, when he's like hanging, you know what I mean anyway, when he's hanging off the cliff. That, carry on with that analogy went on far too long.
started crying as well. Achieves, could you, I'm sad now.
Now I'm sad because you're both sad. You guys have been such great bundles of joy, and now you're all both morose.
It took Pokemon the movie to do it, but it did it.
But it was an interesting game number 2. I think Aeon and Nomad, I think they learned a very valuable lesson in that game, and don't bite off more than you can chew. They had a couple opportunities, especially that big one in overtime. That was a free backboard pass and almost a guaranteed goal, and a couple ones in regulation in the final 30 seconds or so, where all they had to do was just pass the ball. Just pass the ball, and they probably win that game.
And it's a prime example of how pressure can start to get to you a little bit. You know, if that's a ranked game or something like that.
Of course you pass the ball.
That goes in the back of the net, and, you know, it's an easy win for them. They're thinking about the next game. But because we are in the elimination bracket, and you're thinking, I have to score here. If we don't score, if we don't win this game, we might lose, and we might go home, and there's always that on the line. Then that's where we see these mistakes come in.
And now you're in this swing game, and it doubles on itself.
Instead of being 2-0 up with 3 match points, everything's level.
Yeah. And it's so rare as well, because we usually, when we get into those sort of games where a team is just holding on, they have to win. Otherwise, you know, they go down by 2 games and have got to win 3 games in a row. They usually don't win it.
Well, here we go then. It looks like the game is about to get underway, and it is indeed the swing game of the series. Game number 3, gentlemen. Over to you.
Thank you very much. On set, so Team Subin RL. I think the major question would be, can you do that again? And secondly, would you try to do it the same way?
Honestly, they might. Because, you know, like I said, they spent the entirety of that game on offense. Subin and Dark Demise really could not get more than maybe 1 or 2 approaches on the orange net.
So Subin going to get the first approach this time around. Now Dark Demise, he hasn't controlled this too well. He's basically given the ball straight over to Nomad, who launches it down to the blue side of the field. And now it's him versus Subin. Ooh. Straight down the middle. He went straight for net. That was sort of an anger shot right there.
I think he might have just been hoping Aeon was around. Just won the challenge, and it happened to go right there. And he's like, "Are you there?" Oh,
that's hopeful. I think that Aeon's going to be sat around in that position.
Where's Nomad? Okay, there he is.
It is a
taking his sweet time.
Very interesting color scheme.
What's he got? Haven't seen it. Ooh.
Very blue and very red. So, neutral. He doesn't know which team he's playing for. If he scores an own goal, we'll know why. Now Aeon just constantly bullying away. That's not going to go in, though. But I wish that ball was going just a slightly bit faster. Demo on Aeon. Here's the chance. Not enough contact from Subin. That was the one.
That was absolutely the one. Free net. Got to make sure you convert it. Oh, nice dribble. Great aggression, though, from Subin. Excellent realization. Dark Demise missed that one, but it forced an awkward touch and a hard bounce, and Subin just kept it going.
Great maturity as well from Subin, because so many times they've been caught from that, but this time around they will be. Aeon's going to put his team 1-0 up.
Well, I liked the first challenge, and then they kind of double commit a little bit there, and it's just a free ball. So I take it all back.
Every week we get the one time where we see 2 players in the opponent's corner.
You kind of just sit there and think to yourself, why?
I still maintain I want a pitch released where goals, so it's double goal, but both goals are in the corners.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Suddenly, a lot of players out there become
amazing.
very good.
You know, the best part is when I get back to the States and launch up Rocket League, I'm gonna double commit so hard, and I'm just gonna be sitting there like I'm a hypocrite.
Dr. Mize, infield pass. Unfortunately, it was absolutely nobody around. Lights Out holding on to their 1-goal lead. And Demo off camera means Dr. Mize has got to deal with this one.
Not a
very
clean
loose
catch.
First touch as well. Nomad had an opportunity. Tried to take it just a little bit too quickly, but that time frame was really shutting down.
Oh, this might be a breakaway. They hit it too hard, though. And again, that's the reason that Subin and Dark Demise haven't had the greatest transitions. Whenever they've got an opportunity to get control on their own half, the pass attempts just have not been exactly where they needed to be or close enough for their teammates to really chase it down. And more often than not, it's resulted in just giving the ball right back, but a catch off the sidewall, and Nomad has to sky up and punch that one out for a brief moment.
Dr. Demise follows his own, and that's going to be bouncing off the side. That was a huge opportunity for Team Sub and RL. They can't make it stick, and is this going to be a punch into the gut? Aeon with the follow. He does miss it, and now Sub
double commit
to the side.
You gotta score
this. has to be scored. There's no way they can miss.
All right.
Oh, we're doing shuttle runs with the ball. Back from the orange side to the blue, and back to the orange once again.
Subin knows. Subin knows he's 0 for 2, and he says, all right, we're not pulling out that hat trick. Make sure to get that one in, but Aeon and Nomad, why? I won't understand the dive at that one, so to speak.
Infield pass. Dr. Demise is going to pull himself off that one. So it's the same situation we found ourselves in last game. 1 goal apiece as we head towards the final few moments of game number 3. Winner of this will be on series point. Nomad has got it over the top. It's on target. Lights Out are back in the lead.
I got to go see exactly what Dark Demise was thinking. Edging up on the challenge. Oh, and Subin's just on the opposite end of the pitch. I just don't think he realized that Subin wasn't in a position to defend the net if Dark wasn't able to make it to that challenge. Because Dark Demise was ready to go challenge and just realized he was beat and gave up on it. And I think Subin just didn't want to give them a free ball.
Nomad. The follow-up. He's got ball control. Dark Demise didn't commit. That means he can turn around and keep himself around. Continuing the challenge. Got to do well here, though, and he has done exactly that. Nomad. Can't quite get the ball past. This Subin. Taps it straight down. That could be straight up to Aeon, but Subin with the double tap. Just not allowing the follow-up to come through. Here's Dark Demise. Beat to the ball. Yeah. Is this going to be another breakaway? No. Subin is there just in time. There's a risk right there, but for Team Sub and RL, they've got to go for it.
They absolutely have to. You don't have any room to worry about it anymore.
Double commit. Aeon, back down. Boost not stolen, or it might have just been off camera. It should have been from Team Sub and RL.
Oh, Subin. He's coming from everywhere.
Dr. Demise goes up high. Aeon with the save. 20 seconds now. Subin over to the corner.
Oh,
this is how desperate they've got.
Oh, they dropped the transition.
One demo. Dr. Demise is on target, and that is going to be 2 goals apiece.
This game should be 3-1, but Nomad and Aeon flub the transition. Subin rotating back says, aha! And Dark Demise is very grateful that he did not just concede game number 2.
When things look in doubt, when you don't know what to do, smack your opponents,
and
things
really
will go
hard.
well for you.
Your poetry game has at least...
It's got pretty good.
It's got pretty good. Yesterday you nailed one. Today you're on fire. You're nailing it, Shogun.
Thank you very much, Achieves. Let's see who can nail game number 3, though. Lights Out. Just getting goals pipped away from them. And those are the sucker punches. Nomad pinches that one to the far side. It's going to be difficult to create too much here, but at least for Aeon, he's got some space to work with. Nomad up for the shot. Goes for the pass. Very Team Dignitas-esque from the last time I saw something like that. Now Subin. Tried to bump. Oh, they got that last one. Why not try and get another? Aeon clears. So over to Summon again. They're just constantly lamping the ball as far away as possible, but now they've got control of the midfield. Nomad by himself. Summon just trying to force an opportunity for a challenge. One time where his teammate can be quicker to that ball. And that could be it. This is twos. Everything is so much more crucial. And Dark Demise.
Presence of mind.
So close to getting a demo.
And I was impressed by Aeon just hanging tough. Didn't even blink.
That's next level mind games right there. Just not believing, or just 100% believing that
You
they're going
won't.
to jump for you. No, that's you will. You will jump. Back down, sub in to the corner. There shouldn't be too much to deal with. And now, that's a poor challenge. You cannot be going from that position. It's off the post. And they've got away from that one, but that was a cardinal sin of Rocket League challenging. Never be facing your own side of the field.
What did we say last time? A hurricane by the release of pent-up hell breaths. And Summon and Dark Demise dodge another one. But they're pushing. Aeon and Nomad, you can sense the tension. They've started getting a little bit antsy. They've started being more aggressive than they have been, and I think it might come back to bite them.
That's what happened last time. Subbins on 0 boost. Hopefully didn't make it too obvious. Now's the clear. Aeon's going to try and get fancy now. Nothing else is working, so why not go for this? Dark Demise with the clear. It's not too great. Subbin's got to get there, and he just has enough boost. That boost will not be around to steal, but this one will be. Aeon back out.
Oh, risky.
And that's everyone going. Aeon's going to be now tasked with getting all the way back, and you can see just how much Summon RL want to take control of the ball. All to play for now.
It's just, oh, what a drop touch.
Doesn't get around for the touch. Dark Demise was able to recover just in time. These teams are not getting more and more cautious. They're just getting quicker and quicker as they try to break each other down.
The funny thing is they're getting quicker and quicker at the expense of their own defense.
I don't think it's quick, but I've not seen anything quality happen just yet, but that could be it. Aeon's got the double tap. 3 goals to 2 is what it took. 3 minutes of overtime, and now lights out on match point.
And if you're lights out, you are just... Honestly, you're not even happy that that one went in. You're so upset that you had to try so hard to get it.
Sheesh. I mean, that is relief. I mean, I'm sure if those two guys are sat there right now, they're going, well played. But in the back of their minds, they're thinking, how did we almost throw that one away? But what a crazy overtime that was. Both teams just threw everything at each other.
It's like, forget it. Who cares? If you make a bad touch, it doesn't matter. We'll recover. And somehow it worked for like... how long? Almost 3 minutes.
Crazy games, Shogun, right?
It was ridiculous. It really was. That, throw your mechanical skill, throw everything you know about tactics, and just throw yourself at the ball.
And here's the thing about this game. Aeon and Nomad, again, spent the majority of the game on offense, and they had to make 9 saves. That's how aggressive they went on that game. They allowed so many decent opportunities for Summon and Dark Demise to transfer that game back to the orange half and get free shots on the net, and they had to recover. If Aeon and Nomad drop almost any of those recoveries, this game goes to Summon.
After a game like we saw in game number 2, dropping the lead in the last 10 seconds, if Lights Out went on to lose that game, that could have just been Tilt
That could have been the series. It could have been the series. It's one of those things that we talk about a lot, and it's like, they should have been 2-0 up in the series.
Absolutely.
If they go 2-1 down in the series after having those games in their hands, they're done. They're done. It's as simple as that, and I just think that it's one of those things, it's so difficult to come back as a player after 2 crushing defeats to then come back and win 2 games in a row. It almost becomes too big an ask. But the important thing is the relief is there now. They now have a couple of match points. But, I mean...
I don't even know what to expect.
Exactly. I was just about to say, at this point, Game 5 wouldn't surprise me right now.
It absolutely wouldn't. If Aeon and Nomad are at least able to take, this 60 seconds and just let all that out, because, again, it's been a slow, steady roller coaster incline ramp up in pressure, and I think that absolutely works against them.
How do you feel this next game's going, Shogun?
The exact same as the last 2 have. We can say what we'd want to change, but I don't think it's going to. Both these teams seem pretty content with what they're going for. And to be honest, they've both seen such reasonable amount of success that it's not going to change. You'd be asking for way too much for either of them to
stick
really
to your
mix
guns,
it up.
man. It's how you got here.
You know, they've got their cards. They're willing to play them.
Okay, fair enough. Well, of course, this is an elimination game. Just to remind you all at home, the loser of this will be falling out of the competition, unfortunately, but the winner still has a chance at that shot at regionals. So we talked about pressure. It's starting to show in the way that these two teams are playing at the moment. It's given us some fantastic entertainment, though. That's the one thing we could definitely take away from this, right?
It's been a lot of fun to just see Aeon and Nomad just get slowly more flustered with how the game has been progressing and to finally come out on top. And here's the chance to put the cherry on top and move on.
Well, here we go then, game number 4. A chance for Lights Out to close out the series right now, or will we see a game 5?
To be honest, the whole world has absolutely no idea the answer to that question. We're talking earlier on about how sometimes you see something go in, it's just like a collective, release of held breath. Not this one. This has just been hyperventilation, the series.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Chaotic Rocket League is the best Rocket League.
Absolutely.
Nomad's got a shot on target, and that's going to be put in. And suddenly, we know how crazy games 2 and 3 was. That was a very game 1 style of goal.
That was, oh, they won the challenge, and oh, they can't make it back. So that's a good start if you're Aeon and Nomad. And unfortunately, just sub and caught out going to grab some boost in the corner. Sometimes it happens. It's a great challenge. An even better one to put it on target.
Yeah, I can't really blame subbing too much for that. The typical response when you see a teammate going for it is that you're always expecting at least a challenge.
Yeah. Just really trusting Dark Demise to get a touch there.
This is perfect positioning now for Lights Out. I'm not saying that they would start to, not attack quite as often. But we've seen from other teams out there that, 1-0, you start to force your other team to start working a lot more. And for Sub and RL, they've struggled to have consistent offensive chances. They're going to have to try and force one of them now. As Nomad with the transition.
Well, maybe not.
Just wouldn't quite settle down. Aeon's got the shot. Going to be a bit of a looper.
And it didn't go in. Because Dark Demise ran right into the back of Aeon and he was coming back in front. 1-on-1, left side. Nice save.
Good demo. Aeon can turn himself around. Subin's also going to be chased. He's out of here as well.
He just respawned.
And there's going to be the save. It's an opinion that you always change depending on which side of the coin you are. One side saying that demos should last longer. The other side that demos really should not last long at all.
Oh, he missed.
And there's Aeon. He's got it straight down the middle. 2 goals to nothing. And this changes the entire complexion of this series because now Sub and RL have got to move forward.
Yeah, that is the last thing you want to happen if your Lights Out. And I think if you're on a Nomad, now you've got a cushion. I think all the tension just went away for that team. I think they feel much better, and they definitely scale things back a little bit unless it's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to commit too hard right now. They already know that they've got a much bigger advantage when it comes to... That's superb attempt at double tap. But they already know they've got an advantage when it comes to positioning and challenges. So make sure you take advantage of that. Just lock down half the field.
They hold literally all the cards right now.
Dark Demise. Turns and bounces off the wall. This could be awkward. It certainly was, but neither team able to really figure out what the ball was doing. You just see very little in the form of committing. Just pushing it around, and that's okay.
Now I want to see if they were trying to do this. Obviously not trying to own goal, but if this is what they actually wanted to do, like trying to pinch the ball. I think it absolutely is. Dark Demise drives that one down, Subin tries to get under it, and I think Subin is absolutely trying to pinch that ball.
So we'll give them credit for the idea.
Execution score 1 out of 10. No, 0 out of 10.
I feel like the idea of doing that right next to your net gives that credit as a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, it looks genius.
You don't know where that pinch is going. You don't know where each
away
other are coming
from your net.
Clearly not.
If the pinch works.
Team Sub and RL, after such an intense few games, this one seems to be crawling away from them. Lights Out just not overstaying their welcome right now. Stealing all the boost as well. I hope they found the angle. almost around Nomad and Aeon.
Oh,
They've got a couple of ridiculous shots in them.
And Subin and Dark Demise have just been in a drought on their own half in terms of boost. Relegating to picking up the pennies, driving around, trying to hold on to it. Now you'll see this disjointed attack because Subin had to back off, and it's going to be all the time in the world for them to recover. Boost control very important in every aspect of Rocket League. Just saw exactly why.
Dark Demise tries to get a one through. Just not around. 3 goals to nothing still. Lights out. After being made to really sweat about it, cruising.
Sunday stroll.
Like walking into
Put another one in.
They're walking in, sweat all over their shirt.
Drenched. Walking around London.
Not a problem.
It definitely feels like they've been walking around London for the past couple hours. It's been hot here, but you know they're about to go inside, get the fan on, open the windows, let it all out, and I think they will be glad to have some time to collect their thoughts before tomorrow.
Yeah, because there's no easy targets for them tomorrow. There's a lot of stiff competition. Ooh. That could be going all the way in. That should be going all the way in. And Subin RL going to make it 4 goals to 1. Once again, stop challenging, facing your own side of the field. Twice now it hasn't worked.
I mean, he was close. If he was a couple pixels further in towards the middle of the field, it goes out sideways. He was so close. He had to try. If he didn't try, it was in for sure.
So final 30 seconds. Back out. Nomad taking control of the ball. Subin looks for Dark Demise on the wall, but he realizes he's going to be beats that ball by Aeon. As they got one more in them. That is a ridiculous angle. Nomad. Told you earlier on they got some angles in them, but that is something a little bit different.
And now for something completely different. That actually is a brilliant shot. Came in from the wrong side of the ball, got under it through the flip. Got it into the near post as well. Really easy to put that one out to the far side with that angle, and that is a brilliant shot. So much in Rocket League depends on how you read the orientation of your opponent's car, and I'm so sad Dark Demise didn't get rewarded for that attempt just now.
Well, as we head into the final few seconds of this game, Rocket League's nearly men are going to have another opportunity at this.
To be so close.
Tomorrow, they've got 1 series to make it through to the regional finals.
Oh, they've managed to do it, just about. They made it difficult on themselves. They almost beat themselves, but Lights Out have managed to take the series 3-1. I mean, they would have beaten themselves up badly if that one didn't go their way, but they did manage to close it out, and that final game, I think, was a little bit of a stress relief for them. They got that win in fairly convincing fashion. Yeah,
much more mellowed out, and it really goes back to those early 2 goals. It happened so quickly in this game. I mean, the first goal came in, 4.5 minutes, because, again, Subin really expecting Dark Demise to have a touch there, and that's the one that really took the air out of the sails for Team Subin. That 2-goal lead, it's always been a real struggle for a lot of teams to contest with that early 2-goal lead. We talked about it a bunch.
Yeah, we definitely did.
If you want to see the pin in the balloon, I think, for the guys on Subin RL, it was that, as Achieved called it, pinch attempt that turned into an own goal. I mean, that was the moment of deflation, we'll call it, I think, for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the first, I mean, especially the first goal going in, it was such a, something I like to call a nothing goal, where really there's not pressure on either side of the field, it's just sort of happened. And now you're behind, you can't play the sort of gameplay that you'd like to play. And it just got worse and worse from there. It's just, those sort of games happen. And unfortunately for them, it happened in a $100,000 tournament.
Yeah. It happened in all 3 of them as well.
In an elimination game as well, unfortunately. So that will be it for Subin RL as far as this tournament is concerned. Obviously, congratulations to them for making it this far. But Lights Out, they continue their way through our elimination bracket. And there were 20 goals scored during that series as well. So thanks to our partners over at Soylent. That means 200 meals will be going to the World Food Programme USA. Again, you can get involved by heading over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open and supporting what is a fantastic cause. Now, let's have a brisk bracket update now and show you how that affects things as far as the bracket is concerned. Of course, we've just seen Sub in RL. They'll be falling out of the tournament, but Lights Out will be moving on, and they'll be waiting for the loser of either G2 Esports B or Applesauce or Suzuki and CLG. They basically have one more shot at redemption. They have one more game where they could potentially qualify here. So lots to play for Lights Out tomorrow, but as you can see at the bottom of the bracket there, that will be our final game of the day we're going to be bringing you. That will be the Rejects taking on Lethality. Now, of course, we always want to hear from you guys at home as well. Let us know your predictions for what will be the final game of the day today by using that hashtag UOS2. And of course, if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with the Universal Open, then head over to Twitter and follow us at Universal Open. But as I say, that's it for game number 2. Unfortunately, Sub and RL have gone home. Lights Out stay alive, and they'll fight into tomorrow. But when we get back, it'll be our final game of the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
So you'll be here to help if I need you?
I got you.
What about here?
Yep.
Here?
Yes, Kyle.
And here's Sir Robert from State Farm.
If you invite me.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Yes, yes.
We're watching the Universal Open together.
And he was in charge of the snacks.
I might have gone a little overboard.
Brisk Dual Force Guava Ginger Limeade, exclusively available at 7-Eleven for a limited time.
shattered. Every moment is a new beginning. You make me come alive, and I'll be waiting till you come back again. Because I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. And I'll be waiting till you come.
And welcome back, everybody, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. Now it's time for our final game of the day, and two teams who will be battling it out for a chance to play tomorrow and a chance to qualify for the regional finals. Those two teams, of course, are going to be the Rejects taking on Lethality. Now, gentlemen, Lethality we saw earlier on today. Obviously, they beat Genesis 3-1 and looked pretty convincing when they were doing so. But the Rejects, we don't know too much about these guys. We haven't seen them on the broadcasters yet.
My mic's muted. Fixed it. So here's what we know about the Rejects. They beat Ghost Gaming, which was Zane, Jackie, and Matt this time around, and they beat them 0-3. What we don't know is how, or anything else about them. I went and scoured the depths of the internet as far as I could, and except for this qualifier, I don't even know they exist.
You came up short. Detective
I
achieves.
tried. I really did. And I was just like, who are these people? And it's like, I have no idea.
And we still don't. But we will by the end of this. And they are in with the shot of qualifying for regionals. And that is a way to put yourself on the map. Shogun. Now, Lethality, now they looked very, very good earlier. Very impressive. Looking at this team, we don't know too much about the Rejects, but they've got a tall order in front of them.
Yeah, Lethality have just been... We came into the previous game wondering, okay, what else do they have in the arsenal? What else can they produce? They've got a whole host of tricks and ways to beat you in defense. They've not necessarily been tested too much defensively, but that's, you know, just sort of a glowing remark as to how good they've controlled the rest of the field. So it's all down to the Rejects. They've got a good win under their belt. They're going to need to replicate that right now because Lethality, they're sort of showing up to be the unexpected team of the week, and they're definitely the ones that, you know, the team to beat here.
Okay, well, just a reminder to everyone, like I previously said, this isn't an elimination game, but this is all for the chance of playing tomorrow and being one game away from qualifying for regionals. As we say, we've always had a team who have come out of nowhere and managed to find themselves in that contention for the regionals and qualifying for the regionals. And I've got a sneaky feeling here about Lethality. Yeah, if they can come out and play in their first game tomorrow, or their only game tomorrow, like they did in their first game today, they seem to start off hot, which is always a good thing to start with. And they can maybe game momentum. It's one game of Rocket League, you know, it's a best-of-5 series, but if you can come out with that heat and catch someone off guard, especially if they've just come off the back of a loss, which the team they will be playing obviously will have come off the back of, falling out of that upper bracket, you give yourself a real opportunity here to make it to that LAN event.
Yeah, they definitely give themselves a good chance, but the problem is they still have to get through the Rejects, and despite us being kind of uneducated about who they are and what they're capable of, you do have to take it one game at a time. You can't get too far ahead of yourself and start looking forward tomorrow and thinking about how you're going to approach G2 and Applesauce. You have to beat these guys who beat Ghost. So you know you can't take it too lightly and be like, okay, clearly they know what they're doing to some degree, So you have to focus in and lock down this series and come back tomorrow.
And final game of the day, Shogun. It's always sad. It's always sad, obviously. We only got 3 games to bring you today, unfortunately. But what are your thoughts on this one? I mean, the Rejects, we talked about how this is going to be an uphill battle for them. But Lethality, they need to continue with that fire that they had in the last game.
Yeah, Lethality, they're very smooth with the way they go about their offense. They're someone that you have to... I mean, I say you have to challenge them before they can get anything going, but they get them going from such awkward angles at times where...
And they just make you miss.
Yeah, you shouldn't be going to challenge them for some of them. So for Lethality, it's just a case of keep doing what you're doing, maybe adapt. And for the Rejects, let's see what you've got.
Yeah.
Let's see what you've got.
Where's my
It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Show me what you got.
Show me what you got. That's what they need to do. And they need to do it now, and they need to turn up now in this series. It looks like the players are joining the server at the moment. So we'll get into our final game of the day as soon as we can. We want to thank you all for watching as well. It's been a good day today, although it's been a bit of a short day. We've had some good action, and we always want you guys to be involved. So use the hashtag UOS2 to get involved. But it's time to get into the game now. So game number 1's about to get underway. The final game of the day is going to be the Rejects taking on Lethality.
For the Rejects, they're going to be starting this one off in offense. And we were looking around earlier on, different websites, different stats places, seeing if we could find anything on Forky and Test Gravity. The reason why we couldn't find anything is because they were using different names.
That is a good question. I kind of want to go like pull something up and look, but I went and looked on, you know, pretty much every encyclopedia with Rocket League about who's played and what. I just haven't found anything on these guys.
See, you know what we need to be doing? We need to be at the top level, play against these guys a lot of the time so we can learn something. But Forky is going to start this game off in the perfect way. Great challenge to get his team on.
Yeah, Lion Blaze does make one person miss, as we've been accustomed to, but this time around, Forky right behind Gravity and says, you won't have the time to reset yourself and make number 2 miss as well.
Lion Blaze, great challenge from him. But he's not going to try and follow up his own original kickoff. J-Bot, we've seen how dangerous he can be up in the air. Him and Lion Blaze up on the backboard, just trying to clear their lines for the time being as Forky and Test Gravity locking down this midfield. It's quite a hard angle though, as Test Gravity gets that ball first. Now J-Bot looking for the follow-up. It's just very heavy first touch.
Ooh.
Attempt at another breakaway. Lion Blaze didn't pick up the boost. It means the Rejects can hold on to this midfield once again. Opportunity to break. Tries to get them, and he's just squeezed it past. The opportunity was slowly fading, but he manages to make it.
This is just a nice catch from Lion Blaze, and it's a great power slide. If he takes his time and just drives around and slowly, you know, uses the natural turn radius of the car to get behind that one, Test Gravity makes it back and saves that one. He was that close.
The most awkward version I've seen of someone trying to shoot something like that is they jumped over the top of the ball and tried to backflip into it. Didn't work, but it was interesting.
Good. But it looked good. And speaking of looking good, Test Gravity. You want to go back to Season 1 and Season 2 of RLCS and look at a guy who's the Cookseer lookalike? Because that is exactly what that car is.
To be honest, there's so many people out there that are influenced by Cookseer. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Test Gravity just over the top. He's looking to try and force a challenge, but J-Bot uses the whip. Now for the ceiling, J-Bot challenges it early. That could be going straight in. Requires Test Gravity to save. Very even game so far. Both teams having good opportunities, and they're not wasting them so far. It's just been good defense that is preventing more goals going in. Follow-up chance around off the post. Lethality have got the midfield. They're not going to challenge until a later moment. J-Bot's got to push that to the corner. He's not in a position to try and air dribble out. Just over the top, Lion Blaze. He did beat Test Gravity, but Test Gravity never committed hard enough that he couldn't get there in time. But I'm liking this from both teams so far. Very solid fundamental Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite impressive, especially from Test Gravity and Forky, just based off of what we've seen from Lethality. It was the big question, you know? Can you stop them air dribbling, ground dribbling, and just making everybody miss? And the timing they have on their defensive approach has been great. One player has been willing to support. That's what it's all about in 2v2. If you're the first man on the challenge, they know their job isn't to win the ball. Win the ball if you can. The job is to make it easy for the guy behind you, and they've done that excellently.
Lion Blaze takes his time. He's flicked. Test Gravity is trying to chase back. He's going to be second best to this one. After all the compliments and all the praise, it's that corner once again.
Yeah, Forky just thinking he can probably beat Lion Blaze to that one, but it's a solid recovery out of the corner, and all he does is just loft that one over his head. And not one they'd like to give up, but there's still plenty of time. I can see the thought process behind it. There's still about 2 minutes on the clock. They might get 1 or 2 more quality chances on net.
This could be one of them. Challenge was pretty early. Test Gravity lofts the ball over the top of Lion Blaze. Tries to predict, and Lion Blaze, I think, saw it. Recognizing that any touch that he would have got would have gone straight over to Test Gravity, so left it entirely. Can't get the pass across. 1-on-1 now. Lion Blaze against Forky. Forky reacts quick. Test Gravity just over the top.
Oh,
Lion Blaze is not there for the save, and that is going to be 2 goals apiece.
Lion, I laughed to know if he had boost. He had about 60 in the midfield.
He had about 40 coming in here.
He had 30 on that jump, and I think he could have made that.
He would have easily made that.
Yeah.
Just double jump, and
yeah.
You only need like 20 for that one.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason that ball shouldn't get cleared. Breakdown for the rejects.
The rejects.
The rejects.
A remix on their name. Big challenge there from both players. Much more for Lion Blaze, though. He had to come at least equal if he wanted to have any chance of not being scored on. 0 boost. Let's see what he can do with this. Not too much more.
Oh, lethality. Excuse me. Not the rejects. Breakdown for lethality. Duh.
Well, this is going to break down for lethality as the rejects coming straight in for their 3rd goal. And just like that, the tables have switched.
Oh, Forky side flipped. I mean, he knew he was beaten. He knew he messed up his rotation out of the midfield. As soon as J-Bot came in from the side and tried to take that ball up the wall and lost it, Lion Blaze, his first instinct was to jump and try and challenge that ball, and his second instinct was to go back. And if he flips those around, he might be able to make a save.
Forky clears. Early challenge from Lion Blaze. He has read that one so quickly.
Yeah, this is just poor read here from Test Gravity. He's thinking he has time to grab the boost and just gives up the ball.
I don't know how much I can blame him for that, to be completely honest.
He's just like, look, man, because he's expecting his teammate
to be way further back.
Or he's expecting his teammate to pass the ball harder across the net and get it all the way there. Either way.
Forky goes long with the shot. Is that going to be good enough? No, straight to the corner. Lion Blaze, he's picked up boost. It's 2v1 for a little while, but now suddenly, have we got one more switch of the leaders to go? It's been 2 of them in just the last minute. 20 seconds left. All tied up. The rejects look to be getting the last quality opportunity. This could be it. No! J-Bot by himself. He picked up the boost. He's going to force Forky all the way back. Can't get the block. Forky just can't shoot the ball to the back of the net. Lion Blaze has got to buy his teammate time. And it will be going to overtime. Well, we've got 1 less series to bring you today. I'll tell you what, this one has got all the makings to be worth 2.
Yeah, if there is one thing that Forky and Test Gravity have done well, it's not allow that one into the back of the net. Unfortunate start to OT, but Lion Blaze and J-Bot will take game number 1 in pretty standard fashion, I guess, for them. There was no flair to that one at all.
So, on set.
Yo.
One thing we've learned from game 1, hyper-aggressive off-the-ball players so far.
Yes, we've learned a little bit about the rejects quite quickly, haven't we? And we know that we're definitely in for a series here. The way they've come out of the gates there, showing no respect to their opponents after what they've just done as well. So a tight win, but a win, nevertheless, for lethality there. And always in a game where maybe you're taking on some players that you're not too familiar with their play styles and things like that. As long as you get that win on the board in that game number 1, you're going to feel pretty good about it.
And there is one thing that Forky and Test Gravity, I was going to say before that overtime game winner went in, that they did excellently throughout the entire game. They made sure to use the space on the pitch they had in the best way possible. They were always coordinated in their approach on offense or defense, and it has definitely created a much more even matchup for lethality than we've seen of the previous lethality opponents.
This has just become a battle of who's got the better position players. It's just,
pretty much.
As soon as the ball is loose, whoever can get a clean bit of contact is taking the ball. As you saw for that goal, to make it 3 goals apiece, and then there's just this. I like this though, because we have complained numerous times about teams being very negative, about not taking their opportunities. Both of these teams, they know the destiny's in their own hands, and they are really going for it.
Yeah, they're going for it. That's what I love. You got to, as you say, the destiny is very much in their own hands here, and they're one game away, as we say, from getting into tomorrow, making it to day 3 of this tournament. You know, both these teams might not have expected to get to this stage, and they give themselves a shot at qualification for that regional finals. It's a huge deal for these guys in this game, and I love the fact that neither of the teams seem to be feeling that pressure too much, and they're just coming out and expressing themselves and playing their game.
Yeah, and the best part is the real test comes tomorrow. You know, they've had to play some pretty stiff competition coming into this one, but you'll be against the cream of the crop tomorrow. And I think that with that in the back of their mind, they're like, all right, these aren't even the hardest games. If we can't win these games, then we don't deserve to be there. And I think that's kind of helped both of them, because they're like, all right, look, we beat these guys, let's give ourselves a chance. And you don't care who you play at that point. You just say, we're good at this game, let's go show it.
So that's very curious as well, because both these teams seem very evenly matched, but they know the hardest task is yet to come. So despite them being so evenly matched, both teams want to sweep aside the opponents. They don't want it to even be close, because they know for a fact that it's going to be a major jump tomorrow.
Yeah, if you come off the back of a 3-0, if you win this series 3-0 right now, if you're Lethality, then you're sat in that lowest bracket, and if you go up against a team that's dropping down, they're going to look across the bracket and go like, oh, like, sheesh.
They've been doing well.
These guys have been rocking it through this lower bracket. You know, we can't take these guys lightly. So, all to do for both these teams. Of course, Rejects gave it a good go in that first game. Obviously, Lethality winning that one in overtime. But I'm expecting a tight series here. I've got to be honest. I think game 2, though, is there's a lot on this game 2. I feel like if Lethality take this game 2, it might be a little bit too much for Rejects to come back from. But let's find out right now, because we're about to get into our game number 2. Over to you guys.
So the Rejects looking to bounce back from what was an incredibly tight game number 1, a game where neither team was really able to capitalize on a lead and hold it. But still all to play for. Lion Blaze chases this one down. He's got a big challenge in him. Yes, he does. But now J-Bot's all by himself, and he's definitely got away with that. He's not too worried after seeing that one.
Big double commit from Test Gravity and Forky. Just a little bit of breakdown and communication between those two.
Pass down. Lion Blaze has got it into a danger area. Test Gravity pushes it away, but still the damage could very well still be dealt. J-Bot takes his time. We already know how dangerous he can be just by himself.
Forky was thinking about doing that turnaround flick with the nose of the Octane, and that one's over the top. Lion Blaze takes it himself, and they're back out in front to start off game 2.
Tornado flicks, don't need them, just go and hit it.
Tornado flicks.
I believe that's the name for it.
Really? Is that what people call it? I never knew what people called it, and you know, you learn something new every day.
Jump up, spin 180 and turn around and do the backflip, isn't it?
That's the tornado flick?
Yeah, that's a tornado
I'll
flick.
take your word for it, because I don't actually know.
Lion Blaze for the follow-up off the post. Onset did make the point coming into this game where, you know, the Rejects, they really do need to take this one, but they already find themselves a goal down.
Man, both teams taking turns giving up on a couple of challenges and giving away possession. Does it cost them the other way? Yes, it will.
Wow, that was impressive. Almost scored with the car and the bull. Thankfully, he scored with the most important of those two things, and that was indeed the car. Lion Blaze didn't have a chance to get to that one.
Yeah, just slammed out of the way.
Very much tests of the mid. In fact, no. I'm going to take that one back because it's been seeing very little midfield challenge so far. Both these teams.
They both backed off on it. They both backed off of a challenge at the top of the opposition's box, and one of the teams scored the chance they got off it. Lion
Blaze tries to follow up his own touch, which is 0 boost, so we got too much going there. J-Bot's touch will go straight over to Test Gravity for launch away, and this is something that we didn't see too much from either side in the first game. Test Gravity very heavy with some of his touches so far.
Dominus does have a knack for chipping the ball up quite well, but sometimes if the ball is moving a little bit quick, it is sort of tough to get that one stuck on your nose.
Oh, there's another double commit. Might be set up, J-Bot. You see that one whistle past his head. Now Forky, he's faked out. Flick away. He's got it straight over to Test Gravity. Unreal gameplay from Forky. What an assist.
It was brilliant, and also, man, Lion Blaze got a dose of his own medicine right there. Just had to sit and wait and think, and he played himself in the net, and he got beat.
So 2-1 now, the Rejects. A phenomenal bit of gameplay there from Forky. put themselves 1 goal up, but as we did see in game number 1, 1 goal seems to mean very little
for these two
between
teams.
these two teams, and J-Bot might have to see his team go 2 goals down. Will eventually clear the ball away. A lot of time being taken as Forky just lofting the ball up high. Good challenge there from Lion Blaze, keeps the ball moving forward. Got to try and figure out Forky though, and he's unable to do that. J-Bot has got that over the top, and as we mentioned, a 1 goal lead in this series. You might as well not even have it, to be honest.
Yeah, but if there is one thing that I've noticed from Test Gravity and Forky, they do double commit a little bit more than I'd like to see.
That's the third of this game.
That is the third just this game. And that is definitely something to keep your eye on. That cannot keep happening for sure.
Oh, that's going to be a long ball, and suddenly a goal lead for Lethality. Now, achieves.
Yes.
I believe that this is now the 5th lead a team has taken. Neither team has been able to capitalize it and put it into a win. I am not counting overtimes for that stat, because that is just unfair.
It has been plenty of back and forth between these two teams. It's been a lot of fun, for sure. Ooh, did they give up the ball? They did. Oh, no.
That's off the backboard. Forky can't make contact. Lion Blaze saw an opportunity for himself. At the very least, he's kept the pressure now on. Good clear. Picked up by Lion Blaze. He's got boost to follow it as well. And see J-Bot just waiting for his opportunity. I like how wide J-Bot's playing as well. He's just predicting where it's going to go, and he's got all of the options from that position.
You know, we touched on it back in, week 1 of these closed qualifiers. 2v2 is all about the off-ball player. The on-ball player can do whatever they want, and sometimes they come out on top. But the off-ball player covers everything else and is responsible for keeping your team in the position you're in, or getting them out of it.
J-Bot. Just wanted to see what Forky was doing. There was potential there for a redirect. He's going to keep moving it around, and he's got the option around.
Oh, so slow.
Going to keep going by himself. We've already saw J-Bot do this earlier on, but he's just such a menace to play against. He calmed down the individual plays a little bit today, but this is why. Just pulled it out of nowhere, and he has decimated the defense.
They saw that dribble that the rejects handed them earlier in front of the net. They decided to do the same thing, and they got him just as tongue-tied as they did back on the other end of the net. Excellent execution.
Dropping straight down, just under a minute left. The rejects on the verge of being 2 games down. But they need to score this just over the top. 50 seconds now. 1 goal difference.
Gravity and Forky taking turns, doing work on both sides of the pitch. Game number 1, Forky was putting them in. This game, Gravity's putting them in. What a soft touch from the Dominus as well. That's the one thing that's one of the things. I take that back. That's one of the things I love about that car. It's so easy to get around the ball because it's so long and still get a decent amount of power. Love it.
Test Gravity's got himself a hat trick. But in a game as tense as this, that's still not good enough, and J-Bot could have finished it. That was a sitter right there.
Yep.
Looking for the flick, Forky. Didn't catch it well enough, and now Test Gravity's going to keep himself going. He's picked up the boost as well. And Lion Blaze recognizes exactly that fact. Forky has to try and deal with this, which he can do, but the time is ticking away from them. Back down, J-Bot. It's going to be awkward for him to go for. Just going to steal that time. If there's any player to do it, it will be J-Bot.
Oh, what a cut.
Well done there from Lion Blaze. Off the backboard. J-Bot's there just in time. One final opportunity for the rejects. Test Gravity, he's so heavy with his first touch, he could still make something from this. And he might do exactly that. But it will hit the back of the floor. Lethality. 2 games to nothing up. They've been made to work for it.
Yeah, 2 goals to nothing up, but just 1 goal between the teams in both of these games. It really has been an attritional battle between the 2 teams. And in that one, it was J-Bot with a few individual plays. We saw a lot of it yesterday when he was given a little bit more space, but to pull it off in a game like this where it's so tight, that was the game-changing moment for me.
Yeah, and both teams took a little bit of each other. A good chunk out of them. There was a couple great dribble plays in front of the net for both teams with J-Bot and Lion Blaze, especially in those final 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds.
What I really actually like is that J-Bot, he's barely tried that. today. If you go for something over and over again, teams know to expect it. But we already know that J-Bot can manage it. He knows that he can manage it. Just has to wait for the correct opportunity to be that monster that we know he can be. And he chose his timing absolutely brilliantly.
And the clock management as well from Lethality.
So that was the main question I had coming into this is, a lot of times they've been barely challenged when it comes to the end of the game, where they haven't really been forced to test their mental side of the game. Like, how well can you... We've seen teams that go very defensive. We've seen teams like G2 that are just happy to play the field. And we've seen teams that... They don't know that they're in the lead. They still seem to think that they're 5 or 6 goals down and just keep going for it. But for Lethality, very mature gameplay from them. They didn't overdo it, but at the same time...
You stay close enough to the ball.
They only did that when they were 2 goals up. I'm still... like. You've got to be able to do that from 1 goal up and start to make small, subtle changes to your gameplay. I haven't seen that from either team yet.
Okay, then. Well, I mean, we're at the point now where, you know, Rejects have been close, but they're not close enough right now, and they have to win 3 back-to-back games to be in with a chance of coming back onto the broadcast tomorrow. But Lethality continuing to impress in a slightly different way this time. They were flexing their muscles a little bit in the previous round that we saw them play. You know, they were showing off a little bit, giving us some entertainment. But in this one...
This is the full body workout.
it's exactly. This is the full body workout, as you say, and they're showing something that we didn't get to see in those previous series, which is a little bit of mental toughness as well.
Yeah, can you react under pressure when you need to win a game versus a team that's going to really test you in what you can do? And they've done well so far. They're 2 down, but there's still 1 more to go, and it's been a close game every single time. Gravity and Forky have been so close, but still that big difference. That 1 goal that's the difference maker in both of those games has been a double commit and a free goal.
Yeah, you know that if they were to win it, they're going to be close games over and over again, so... You know, they're sort of going to have to ride their luck as well, because these games have been close. I don't want to necessarily call them a coin flip, but you sort of have to say, if you did have a best of 5 and it was a coin flip, you're 2 down. You're not going to trust yourself to win 3 in a row, but they've got to try and manage something here.
Well, they need to pull it out of the bag, and Lethality, of course, just 1 game away now, gentlemen. I mean, Lethality, we talked about how good they are and how impressed we've been with them today, but I think we need to just give a little bit of love here to the Rejects. We were coming into this game. We hadn't seen them on broadcast so far. These 2 players have been so impressive, and one player particularly in that game, Forky, that assist was sublime.
That was...
It was a great dribble.
I mean, I think
just
it
put
helped.
hand up right now. I put my button.
So you want the assist of the day for that one?
Assist of the day, guys.
So when we get asked that later on, do we have to pretend like we're not
You
too sure?
trust production after what they did to us
That's
earlier on in the
a great
show?
point.
Absolutely
That's
not.
a great point.
Oh, you are so right. You are so right.
Can't be wrong.
I've got serious trust
We
issues
better
right now.
better find clips of that later. Like, go back to the hotel tonight.
I don't want to see any clips of
I
that.
do. I
Everyone
absolutely
needs to
do.
get-
I just got in my ears, haters gonna hate from production, so, you know. What can I do? What can I do? But
I'm hating real hard, you trust me.
The teams are joining, and this could potentially be our final match of the day. 1 more game to go for Lethality. It's been an entertaining day again. I love the day 2s. Day 2s give us that excitement, give us that pressure. So let's see if one of these teams can deal with the pressure right now. Let's get into our game number 3. Lethality just 1 game away from making it through to tomorrow.
Yep, and the Rejects have got it all to do, but this could be a great start for them. Forky's so close on the challenge. Rejects know exactly what the task ahead of them is. And they are going to be aggressive all the way to the grave if they have to be.
Ooh.
Test Gravity's still gone for this.
What a block.
Might drop straight down. He's got a second touch.
My goodness, put it in.
Unreal gameplay that deserved a goal. Oh, that's so hard to achieve, though.
It really is, because he used so much boost just to stay with it, and you're so sad.
A play is great when it is not a goal, and we're still sat and go, that was fantastic.
That was great.
Test Gravity. Launches long again. It's not going to be too much to deal with, and that is actually a poor clear. I've seen a lot of players doing this recently, where they are trying to find that arc over in the corner to try and launch off. It's so much more difficult for the other team to try and read, but on the other side, it can come back to bite you. It can just launch straight onto the bonnet of one of your opponents. J-Bot, back down. Gets the challenge over to Lion Blaze.
Too hard.
He has got the boost to his name.
Oh, what a tackle. J-Bot out of position, though. Free ball.
Test Gravity is just so quick with these recoveries. Far side. Lion Blaze looking for the push. He's won it. Test Gravity, he's missed. J-Bot, he's going to have to beat him one more time. and he doesn't recognize that straight down. Thought that test gravity was done.
Yeah, J-Bot just didn't have the boost to put that one in. He got the touch, he got the angle, but just didn't have anything left in the tank to make sure he got it there with enough power.
Going to be awkward. Lion Blaze, even more awkward for him that he has now been demoed. Backflip from test gravity. J-Bots back around. Lethality are just stuck in this final third, but they've finally got it away. And the rejects, they'll be happy to see that they were not caught out. So many times we've seen players too far forward. Test gravity, he's trying to put that one over. This
he
is
juked his own teammate.
Not been good gameplay at all, but they're going to get away with it.
Will they?
Oh, no.
You were saying?
No, it looked like it was a hard angle, but Lion Blaze cares not for your silly angles. And they're going to manage that.
Yeah, Gravity's going to be a little upset. It was that maybe second touch after he chipped that ball up to try and follow that play. Forky behind him realized that my teammate's in trouble. I'm going to go help him, and we'll just go back on defense.
That one,
and then he had that one extra touch, and that was all she wrote.
That one really needed a bit of communication between the two. And if that is the way that the rejects go out of this tournament, they would despise it. They need now to find that goal. They bring us up to 1 goal each. Otherwise, they are heading out of this tournament despite a great showing for themselves. Lion Blaze has got the ball. Didn't get it onto his hood, so instead tries to force a fake.
Couldn't make it.
Follow from J-Bot will not be on target.
He got scared of cutting in too hard because Lion Blaze was rotating out on the same side that J-Bot's shot was going to go in. He just didn't want to crank it off his teammate's car.
Test gravity, look at the ceiling shot. There was another double commit on the back from the rejects.
Great read from Lion Blaze there.
J-Bot, he's not going towards this. Back to the middle. J-Bot over the top. Have the rejects just pushed that little bit too far forward? Yes, they have. Now 2 goals down.
I was on J-Bot's camera that whole time, and I thought, surely Test Gravity has backed off into the midfield to pick up the boost to challenge this from that position. But no, they wanted to keep it right in front of that orange net. And boy, did he get punished for it.
Just that small switch from Lethality. They've been, many times where they've gone 1-0 up, and they've still been pushing forward like it's a tie game. This time they've recognized that the rejects have got all the work to do.
Yep.
There's a possibility the rejects could panic. And it's worked out because the rejects have made those mistakes.
And Lethality managed the clock quite well in the wrap-up of game number 2, that final 20 or 30 seconds or so. They didn't allow a ton of chances like some teams have a nasty habit. They back off and try and lock down, and the other team gets a ton of free shots on goal. They keep things close, and it's going to be a tough one for Forky and Gravity to come back here.
Forky's still got ball control, but Lion Blaze holds himself towards the midfield. Rejects have not had a solid opportunity in so long, and there's a bump from Forky on his own teammate. Test Gravity forced to save, but it's another double commit. Rejects are falling apart in front of our very eyes. Follow-up will not be around as Test Gravity takes out J-Bot.
Oh,
Lion Blaze. I don't think Lion Blaze has seen his own side of the field for a very long time. Just keeps grabbing boost from the midfield and turning around. Even sometimes just doesn't even grab boost. Just goes straight down the small boost pickup line.
Boost is the greatest crutch in this game, Shogun. Don't you know that?
Lion Blaze has just got such good pathing that he has always got some.
If you need boost to win, you're not good.
Lion Blaze will be following. Still 2-0, 15 seconds left. And what an impressive end showing from Lethality. They took the early lead, and then they just squeezed the life out of the rejects. With the time ticking away, we will be seeing them tomorrow. Lethality progress through to a qualifying round.
Yeah, they managed to do it. They managed to close out the series, and they show a bit of killer instinct in that final game of the series, and you always need a little bit of killer instinct in you as a team, especially when it comes to tournament play. So congratulations to Lethality there. A great way for them to finish out that series.
Oh, yeah, and I think, you know, despite the rejects not coming out with a win in any of them, getting shut out in game number 3, I think they know exactly what went wrong. They know they played a decent series. They're going to be a little bit upset at the way they lost it, but can hang your head high. You had a pretty good run of things. Come back next time, but Lethality, that was a brilliant way to close it out. It was tight all the way through. Pretty much nothing wrong with that game, really. They didn't get a ton of chances. They only got 5 shots on goal in this game, and they put 2 of them in the net, and they said, look, we'll just tighten down on defense, make sure we don't make any glaring mistakes, and it worked out.
And one thing we should note as well is that Lionheart was 7 goals, 10 saves, so he came one short of the dual force achievement unlock. But Shogun, I mean, it was a great performance, but just give a little bit of love here to the reject, because it seems like they're very close. But it's just a few fixable things, quite easily fixable things for them. Maybe gives them a better chance if that series is played again.
So here's the scary thing: is that let's say the rejects take game 1. You could so easily see this exact scenario playing out, but for the opposite side.
Yeah.
Just didn't quite go for them. There was a lot of nearly moments that they're going to kick themselves for. There was even nearly moments towards the start of that 3rd game where Test Gravity had that phenomenal double tap out of nowhere. If that one goes in, that could shape an entirely different complexion for that final game. It sucks. It happens. Competitive Rocket League can be very harsh.
Tournament play is a cruel mistress, but one thing that is good news is at the end of the day today, we have 54 goals scored across 3 games, just the 3 games today. So not surprising to see that number a little bit down, but that means 540 meals, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, will be donated to the World Food Programme USA for the final time today. If you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. Again, thank you so much to Soylent for being involved and for donating to that fantastic cause. But let's have a brisk bracket update now. Let's see exactly how things are going to be looking forward to tomorrow, because I mean, tomorrow's all about qualification to that regional competition, and that is what I am looking forward to, seeing that right hand side filled up with 4 team names. We have G2 Esports B going up against Applesauce. Tomorrow we'll also have Sizzle Your Cobb going up against CLG. The loser of those 2 games, I mean, look at the 2 teams we have down the bottom waiting for them. We have Lights Out and Lethality. The impressive Lethality will be waiting for those teams and looking to cause that upset. Gentlemen, it's going to be a great day tomorrow.
Couldn't be more happy with the 2 teams that made the run through the lower bracket. I think they've both proven they absolutely deserve to have a chance at qualification for the regionals. The teams out of the other upper bracket got to be careful. I know you're the teams 1 through 4. This is the first time nobody's been knocked out on day 2 that we didn't expect. 1 through 4 are in the top half. They come into day 3. Tomorrow's going to be tough.
Okay, well, let's have a favourite part of the day that I might have, hopefully production have listened to me, is, of course, our State Farm assist of the day. Now, I'll put my hand up right now. I'm saying it was Forky.
It was good. It was a good dribble.
Are we in agreement?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, let's find out exactly who our State Farm assist of the day is going to be going to, and it is going to be going to, please don't troll us right now. It looks like it is going to be Forky. Yes, it is. It was a fantastic play, gentlemen.
Oh, that fake was so good.
Sometimes you just got to really give credit. I mean, there's a goal scorer, and then there's the assist. This is as good as they come. Well, Forky just plays that position absolutely brilliant. I mean, if you're the defense, you're looking at that and just saying, Forky's just going to hit this at us, isn't he? Because realistically, that's what most players would do. Instead, he fakes it out and gets a sublime pass off.
It's the best part about assist play, you know? The mind game factor of it. Be like, hey, can I make you do this? Ha! Got him!
Absolutely not. Well, congratulations to Forky, of course. You are our State Farm assist of the day, so congratulations. And thank you all for watching. Again, of course, we always want to hear from you guys. So use the hashtag UOS2 ahead of tomorrow. Tell us what games you're looking forward to seeing, who you think's going to qualify as well. And don't forget to follow us at Universal Open on Twitter as well. But that's going to do it all for today, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We'll all be back tomorrow, because tomorrow is all about qualifications for the 6 teams that are left. We'll see you then, and have a good evening in the meantime. Goodbye.
That's a fun. That's a seven put aside for me.
For me! For me!
All right, come on.
So, State Farm will be here to help protect our home.
Of course.
What about here?
Yep.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Here?
Feels a little awkward.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
We're watching the Universal Open together.
And he was in charge of the snacks.
I might have gone a little overboard.
Brisk Dual Force Guava Ginger Limeade, exclusively available at 7-Eleven for a limited time.